We open in a small coastal town back in 2017, and our first character, this very judgmental-looking cat. From its perch on a rooftop, our cat overlord is on patrol. Just beneath it is a quiet, blue-haired boy walking all by himself. That guy's weird, someone says. A pair of guys are watching him. What's his deal? The kid with the bowl cut explains he's the new transfer student, and the weird part, he never ever talks. He takes a swig of his coffee getting serious, but it's more than that. It's not just that he's quiet, it's like he's deeply silent. Yeah, I have no idea what that means either, my friend. The other one is just as confused as we are, asking what he means by that. But before he can explain, a white car comes barreling down the narrow street, and the blue-haired kid, without even looking, steps directly into its path. The driver freaks out, slamming the brakes with a deafening screech. The car stops just inches from him. The driver is absolutely losing his mind. What is wrong with you? Hey, you punk, you think you have extra lives or something? Why did you jump out in front of me? But despite the man's rage, the boy just slowly turns his head, his expression completely blank. He does not care at all. The guys in the alley are baffled. What is he doing? Wait, look at his leg. And there it is. The same fluffy cat from before is rubbing against his leg, purring its little heart out. Dude was just trying to save the cat. The angry driver grabs the kid by his collar, accusing him of trying to pull some kind of insurance scam. The onlookers can't believe it. Wow, even in this situation he won't say a single word. One of them tries to call the cat over. See? I told you, the bowl-cut kid says grimly. It's like he has some disease where if he talks he'll die. He just stays silent, no matter what. Just then, a girl with gray hair runs onto the scene, shouting, "Mister, wait a minute, what's going on?" She rushes over to the blue-haired boy. "Jijan, are you okay? What happened?" The driver, still gripping Jijan's tie, tries to explain that the kid just walked right in front of his car. The girl looks at Jijan worriedly. She then turns to the driver and bows deeply. "First of all, we are so sorry, can't you please let it go just this once?" She puts on her best puppy dog eyes and begs, "Please, just this one time, mister. Jijan isn't that kind of person. And what do you know? It works." The driver calms down and tells them to just be more careful. The guys in the alley are seriously impressed. Wow, Yena just stepped in and solved the whole thing. She's the queen of class 5. The kid holding the cat asks it, "Right, kitty?" Big mistake. The cat goes completely feral. With a furious hiss, it launches itself at his face. After mauling the poor guy, the cat just lands gracefully and trots off like nothing happened. At that exact moment, a gorgeous girl with long dark hair walks by. The kid who just got his face rearranged perks right up, a bloody mess, and waves. "Arum, hi." Even with his face looking like shredded cheese, he puts on a huge grin. "Good morning." "And Arum?" She completely ignores him, walking right past without a single glance. Ice cold. His friend points out her cold shoulder, but the injured kid is totally smitten. Isn't it attractive though? If class 5 has Yena, our class has Arium. Attractive my foot, it feels like she's just straight up ignoring you, but he insists, No, it's because she's shy." His friend raises an eyebrow. "Huh? So she doesn't talk either? Wait, so she's just like that other guy?" The injured student explodes. "Don't compare her to some random dude. She's totally different. You take that back." And so the students head to school, each one lost in their own little world. Inside the loud, chaotic classroom, Jijan sits at his desk, perfectly still. He closes his eyes, trying to block out all the noise and chatter around him. Suddenly, his eyes snap open to a sound. Yena and her friend are at his desk. "Meditation time again today, huh? Oh, this one looks like a professional photo shoot. It's been a whole month since you transferred and you do this same meditation routine every single day." She shows him a picture she took on her phone. "I snapped this to commemorate it. What do you think? If you don't like it, you can just delete it." She reassures him. "Don't feel like you have to say yes just because I helped you out earlier." He seems to give a silent nod of approval and she beams. "Thank you, Jijan." Suddenly, the classroom door slams open with a loud bang. A tall, intimidating student strides into the room. This is Seo Taksu, the class bully. You know the type. The whole room goes dead silent as every single student turns to look at him. Taksu scans the room with a smug look on his face, like he owns the place. He overhears the girls talking and giggling about the photo. Suddenly, he places a heavy hand on Jijan's shoulder, smiling menacingly. The vibe here looks pretty good. He smirks. "Jijan, why are you always surrounded by girls? You even kind of look like one." Taksu grabs Jijan's wrist, holding his arm up. "Dude, look at your wrist. It's a total girl's hand," he exclaims, rubbing Jijan's hand on his own cheek. "It's so smooth, I might just fall for you." Jijan's expression hardens just a little, his eyes narrowing. He's not amused. Yena looks over, clearly annoyed. "Stop it, will you? It's not funny." Taksu completely ignores her, patting Jijan's head like a puppy. "It's because he's so cute. He's just adorable." He then turns his attention back to Yena. "By the way, I told you to come to the karaoke room yesterday. Why didn't you show?" She looks away, rolling her eyes. "I told you I was tired and going to bed early. Can't you understand that?" Taksu's face darkens. "No, you should have come, because your boyfriend called for you. I was waiting a long time." He warns her not to skip out on him today. She just gives a vague "I'll see" while staring at her phone. One of his lackeys immediately brings over a second chair for him. Total follower. Taksu kicks his feet up on a desk, leaning back like he's the king of the world. After class, we transition to PE where the students are playing outside. After the game, Jijan is sitting alone on the steps, looking exhausted. Yana comes over, fanning herself. Man, it's so hot. She takes a seat right next to him and asks, "Aren't you hot?" She then aims her little portable fan right at Jijan's back. "Here, should I do this for you?" She smiles, enjoying the breeze. Feels so refreshing, right? Jijan just gives her a quick sideways glance, staying completely silent. Yana just laughs, clearly amused by his quiet personality. Meanwhile, a few feet away, the guys are in a heated game of soccer. A player yells for the ball and his teammate shouts back, "Leave it to me." He winds up and kicks the ball with everything he's got, sending it rocketing across the court. Unfortunately, his aim is terrible, and the ball goes flying straight towards an unsuspecting Taksu. It smacks him square in the side of the head with a loud whack. The kid who kicked it is instantly terrified. "Taksu, I'm so sorry. I was just trying to pass it." Taksu just smirks, brushing his hair back into place. "Ah, shoot, my hair got all messed up." Then, to everyone's shock, he just laughs it off and claps his hands. "Don't worry about it. Let's keep playing." Wrong. As the game resumes, he shoots a dark, menacing glare over at Jijan and Yena sitting together. Bro is not happy. Later, Jijan is chilling by himself on the rooftop, enjoying a sandwich and a soda. Suddenly, a door nearby slams open with a bang. The kid from the soccer game stumbles out, his hair a complete mess. "Please, I told you I was sorry," he begs. Taksu and his goons emerge, and Taksu is holding a buzzing hair clipper. "Come here, you little punk," he sneers. They've got the poor guy totally cornered. "Shut your mouth and get over here," Taksu orders. He leans in, his expression pure evil. "Do you need to taste some blood before you come to your senses?" The student is so terrified he collapses to his knees. Just then, one of Taksu's goons spots Jijan sitting on the bench nearby. The goon jumps back in surprise. "Whoa, you scared me. What are you doing here?" The whole crew turns to look. Taksu just smirks. "Jijan, what, were you eating lunch all by yourself over here?" He calls it creepy, then tells Jijan to watch closely, because he's about to make a masterpiece. With a wicked laugh, he starts shaving the kid's head, saying he's making him look much better. He pats the student's head, showing off his work. What do you think? The poor kid is left with a horrible buzz cut, with 2 little tufts of hair left on top like devil horns. Taksu turns to the silent Jijan. "Hey, aren't you going to laugh?" When he gets no reaction, Taksu gets cocky. "You don't like my masterpiece? You're so picky." Then, his focus turns to Jijan. He shoves the buzzing clippers right in Jijan's face. "So shall I create a perfect masterpiece? What do you say?" He dares Jijan to say something if he doesn't want it, knowing full well that he never talks. When Jijan stays quiet, Taksu thinks he's won. "So, you're not gonna talk, huh? I guess that means you're okay with it, right?" He brings the clippers right up to Jijan's hair. "Don't worry, I'll make it pretty." Jijan's eyes remain expressionless. Taksu gets closer and whispers, "You should watch yourself. I'm warning you, don't cross the line." He continues. He decides to back off, admitting that if he messes with Jijan, all the girls will get mad at him. "Let's go," he says, turning and walking away with his crew like the coward he is. The bullied student just stares at the door they left through, his humiliation hanging in the air. He kneels down by the piles of his own hair and pulls out his phone. He takes a grim selfie of the awful haircut. "I need to capture evidence," he mutters. He then looks up and realizes Jijan is still there. The student walks over to him. "Why weren't you laughing?" "To be honest, I don't care even if you laugh." The student looks at Jijan with a new level of respect. "As expected, you're different from the other guys." As he walks away, he adds, "If it were me, I would have laughed my head off." "Thank you, Jijan." Later that day, as school ends, a sudden downpour starts. Students scramble for cover, complaining about the unexpected rain. Walking through the crowd is Ariam, holding an umbrella with her usual cold, distant expression. Not far away, Jijan is walking by himself, getting completely soaked by the rain. "Hey, Jijan!" someone calls out. But before she can reach him, 2 of Taksu's goons grab Jijan by the shoulders. "Taksu wants to see you. Follow us." They lead him to a secluded area where Taksu, Yena, and the whole gang are waiting in the pouring rain. Taksu looks up with a cruel grin. "Well, look who it is. Our popular guy is here, still handsome even when you're soaking wet." Yena looks frantic. "You should stop this. Why did you bring Jijan here?" she demands. Ignoring her, Taksu grabs her phone. "Are you getting angry?" "I'm just trying to check something." And then he throws the phone into a puddle at Jijan's feet. The screen lights up, showing the wallpaper a picture of Jijan. Taksu asks coldly, "Why is your face on Yena's home screen?" Jijan stays silent as Taksu's face twists with rage. "I don't know if I'm being petty, but I just can't understand it." Yena desperately tries to de-escalate. "I told you, it means nothing. I'm just using it because the mood looks good." "Mood?" Taksu seethes. "You're telling me that was all?" Yena shoves Jijan, trying to get him to run. "Jijan, quick, leave. This has nothing to do with you." She looks at him pleadingly, her voice soft. "Hurry, and go." One of the lackeys scoffs. "See? All the girls are siding with that punk? They're even flirting right in front of us." Yena spins around, finally snapping. "Cut it out, you loser. Stops crossing the line." And in a flash of pure rage, Taksu lunges forward and brutally punches Yena right in the face. Blood explodes from her mouth from the sheer force of the blow. As Yana crumples to the ground, a spray of her blood lands on Jijan's face. His eyes snap wide open in shock. In that instant, something inside him breaks and a cold, purple light glints in his eyes. Taksu stands over the fallen Yana, absolutely furious. You witch, who are you siding with in front of your own boyfriend? He turns to Jijan with a smug grin. So a girl likes you, huh? Did you already know? He glances back at Yana on the ground. How about you? Are you interested in her too? With a twisted grin, Taksu makes a disgusting offer. If you tell me honestly, I'll give her to you. I'll let you date her, you punk. He demands an answer from the silent Jijan. You were interested in her too, weren't you? Tell me. Yana finally speaks up from the ground. Boyfriend? Someone who throws drinking parties with other girls and brags about it online is my boyfriend? Taksu furiously snaps back. I already apologized about that. The older guys set it up for me. How could I just skip it? With tears in her eyes, Yana tells him it's over. You're not worthy of being my boyfriend. You're out. Shut up. Taksu screams, and without a second of hesitation, he slams his fist into the small of her back. Jijan watches, his face now a mask of pure, unfiltered rage. Yana cries out in pain but manages to get one last jab in. This is really the end for you. I was a crazy girl forever dating you. Losing it completely, Taksu grabs her by the shirt. Who gave you permission to end it? Do you think I'll let you go? Yana just dares him. That's right. Hit me. Hit me more. Let's settle this today, he roars, pulling his fist back for another punch. But just as he's about to connect, a hand shoots out and grabs his wrist, stopping the punch dead in its tracks. It's Jijan. Taksu is stunned. Jijan? Don't tell me you really were interested in her? I gave you my advice, didn't I? I told you not to cross the line. Taksu yells, swinging a massive punch right at Jijan's face. Jijan stumbles back, but he's completely unfazed, his eyes now glowing a dangerous red. You're not even a match for me, Taksu says coldly. Seeing this transformation, Yana screams in terror. Come to your senses, Jijan. His eyes narrow and he plants his feet, digging into the wet ground. Taksu can't believe it. He withstood that. I'm not holding back anymore. He unleashes another powerful glowing punch, but Jijan doesn't even move an inch. He just takes the punch, his eyes glowing an intense, furious red. Taksu stares in disbelief at the unmoving boy. What is with this guy? Just go die, you bum. Taksu screams, throwing one last desperate punch. This time, Jijan effortlessly catches the fist in his hand. With a cold look in his glowing eyes, Jijan unleashes a brutal counterpunch, sending Taksu flying into a puddle. Taksu's crew can only watch in horror. What was that, Taksu? Yana is completely speechless. Taksu tries to push himself up, spitting blood. Shoot, what is this? But before he can recover, Jijan delivers a vicious kick straight to his head. That punk! He's asking for it. Seeing their leader down, the rest of the crew rushes in to attack Jijan all at once. One of the thugs grabs a metal pipe and swings it, but Jijan is way too fast. He kicks the guy in the chest, sending him flying before the pipe can even connect. The last guy standing watches his friend go down, completely frozen in pure terror. On the ground, Taksu stares up in disbelief. Jijan, what are you? Who are you? Jijan doesn't answer. He just grabs Taksu by the hair and viciously slams his face into the ground. He doesn't stop, repeatedly smashing Taksu's head into the wet pavement with relentless, terrifying fury. Yana finally rushes over and grabs Jijan from behind, pleading with him. Stop. Stop it, Jijan. Her voice seems to reach him. He stops, panting heavily as lightning flashes across the sky. As he catches his breath, Yana can only look on, her face a mixture of fear and deep concern. Without another word, Jijan straightens his clothes, shoulders his backpack, and walks away from the carnage. The one conscious thug can only stare after him, muttering, that lunatic. Yana is left kneeling on the wet ground, trying to process what just happened. As Jijan disappears into the storm, it's clear there's a deep, heavy darkness hidden behind all that silence. The writer wants us to see another angle on that encounter, to add to the mystery, I guess. From this vantage point, we see Arium when Taksu's minions call Jijan and lead him to where Taksu is. She hears them talking about Taksu being furious with Jijan. Just ask for mercy as soon as you see him, dude. It's the only way you'll live, one of them advises. Arium is curious and maybe a bit concerned. Her hand grips the umbrella handle tight, and in the next second, she's sprinting through the rain. She cautiously peeks around a corner, and what she sees makes her eyes go wide with pure shock. Jijan is landing a brutal punch on Taksu, who's twice his size, sending blood flying. And his face? It's chillingly calm as he winds up for another devastating blow. Arium can only watch in horror as Jijan systematically dismantles the other bullies. When the carnage is over, Jijan is the only one left standing, soaked to the bone in the rain. He emerges from the alley, breathing heavily, and begins walking, then gives her a glance. In the middle of the downpour, their eyes lock. His gaze is intense, his face bruised and bloody. Arium's hand is shaking, but she offers him her umbrella. Jijan just stares for a second and walks away, totally ignoring her. Ahram just stares after him as he walks off into the night. So mysterious. The next day, the storm has passed, and the sun shines over the school. In the classroom, everyone notices Taksu and his crew are MIA, just assuming they're skipping. But Jijan is missing too, and people are starting to talk. Yena's friend asks her if she knows what happened. Yana, now sporting a bandage on her cheek, just stares off into the distance, clearly thinking about him. Meanwhile, in a grimy underpass, some tough-looking dude is in total disbelief. He can't believe the news that Taksu is in the hospital. He says they were just out drinking a couple of days ago. He grabs one of Taksu's lackeys and demands to know how bad the damage is. The kid nervously explains that Taksu's face is fractured and he's too embarrassed for visitors. The leader asks how many of them got wrecked. The kid stammers, 4 of them. The big boss, Kang Doyle, is floored that Taksu lost and demands to know who did it. The lackey explains it was all done by one person, a quiet, mysterious transfer student named Jijan. Doyle just smirks, calling it pathetic that 4 guys got taken down by a single nobody. Suddenly, one of Doyle's massive goons grabs the kid by the throat, asking why he got away clean. He stammers that a 5-on-1 fight seemed cheap, so he stayed out of it. The big guy calls his bluff and smacks him hard across the face. Doyle, clearly annoyed by the interruption, asks what school Jijan transferred from. The kid insists nobody knows anything. He says Jijan is completely mute. Frustrated with how useless he is, the big goon punches him hard in the gut. He then demands a physical description. Anything they can use to identify Jijan. This is where it gets weird. The kid admits that Jijan is super handsome, like a model with a strange charisma. Did you fall for him or something? The goon yells, punching him again for the weirdly flattering description. But Doyle seems genuinely intrigued by this silent, secretive pretty boy fighter. He says a fighter like that is a rare item and gets a crazed, hungry look in his eye. I want it, he screams. The next day at school, students walk in under a hilariously ironic banner calling for non-violence. And there he is. Jijan walks calmly through the locker area, but he's being watched. The bowl-cut kid from Taksu's crew is spying on him from around a corner. A quick flashback shows Doyle ordering him to dig up information on Jijan's background. The kid was clearly terrified, but he had no choice but to accept the mission. Back in the present, he's stressing out, almost in tears. Why the heck does he have to do this? At that exact moment, Jijan opens his locker. Inside, he finds a pair of slippers and a smartphone that suddenly starts vibrating. With a flicker of surprise on his face, he picks up the unknown phone. A text from a random number congratulates him on getting a free phone. The message tells him to use an app called X-Talk to share any of his worries. Totally not suspicious at all, right? Jijan just looks around to see who might have done this. His little spy completely freaks out, thinking he's been spotted. But Jijan just turns and walks away, still examining the mysterious phone. Meanwhile, Arium is also nearby, holding up her phone. Jijan glances back down at the new phone, his expression totally unreadable. And a close-up on Arium reveals she's blushing hard at whatever is on her screen. As Jijan checks out the weird phone, Taksu's lackey keeps spying, trying to figure out what's going on. As Jijan walks off, he leaves the phone sitting on top of the lockers. Seeing his chance, the lackey lunges for the abandoned phone and snatches it up. He quickly inspects it. It's a super old model. And wait a minute, it isn't even locked. But before he can start snooping, Arium lands a brutal nudge to his back. He slams hard into the lockers with a loud crash, dropping the phone. Arium coolly strolls past, picking up the phone while the kid sputters on the ground in a daze. He yells after her, asking what her deal is, but she just runs away. Left alone and completely owned, the kid is seething with a mix of rage and pure humiliation. Elsewhere, Yena is walking with her friend Yuri, who's excitedly talking about her aunt's new poodle puppies. Yena, however, is a million miles away, completely lost in thought and not hearing a word. Her friend immediately calls her out for zoning out again, and Yena tries to play it off. But her friend sees right through her, teasing, "Liar, you were thinking about Jijan again, weren't you?" As Yena denies it, her friend suddenly spots him down the hall and shouts, "Hey, it's Jijan." Yena's head whips around, her own eyes widening in surprise as she sees him. Their gazes lock across the crowded hallway, and Yena is suddenly hit with a massive wave of emotion. Without any warning, tears begin to well up in her eyes. She doesn't even hesitate. She shoves her posters into her friend's arms and calls out his name. She takes off running after him, leaving her friend to sigh. "Jijan's the only one you see, huh?" In a flash, she closes the distance between them. Catching up to him, Yena immediately throws her arms around him in a tight hug. The sudden, bold move leaves all the other students in the hallway completely stunned. With tears streaming down her face, she tells him how worried she was and asks if he's okay. She looks up at him and says, "You saved me, Jijan. I won't ever forget it." Jijan is expressionless as usual, as Yena says a heartfelt thanks. And of course, watching the whole scene unfold from the sidelines, Taksu's lackey grumbles with jealousy. He quickly pulls out his phone and starts tapping out his daily report for Doyle. His notes are simple: late to school, popular with the girls, and still not talking. He wonders if this intel is even enough. Later that day, after school lets out, Jijan walks alone through the city streets. As he walks, a tough-looking guy on a yellow dirt bike spots him from across the street. He smirks, recognizing Jijan instantly. He sure stands out, he mutters to himself. He pulls out his phone and sends a quick message, alerting another delinquent on a scooter nearby. The trap is sprung. The two of them move in at once, screeching to a halt to block Jijan's path completely. The man with the glasses sizes him up. "Jijan? You're Jijan, right?" Jijan remains completely silent, staring back with that same intense, stoic expression. The man just smirks. "I guess I'm right. Get on. We came to pick you up." These biker thugs roll up and don't even waste time. They ask Jijan if he's heard of the legend from Daesunhai, a guy named Kang Do-il. The lead biker starts running his mouth, calling Jijan's school a total dump for losers. Talk about picking a fight. Then he drops the real reason they're here. The big boss, Kang Doyle, wants a meeting. He tells Jijan to get on the bike. Now, he tries to play it cool, saying it's just an invitation and that Jijan won't get hurt. For now, sounds super reassuring. But Jijan isn't having any of it. He completely blanks them and just walks away. The thugs are furious, screaming at him to get on the bike. Not taking the hint, one of them lunges forward and snags Jijan by his backpack, trying to force him to stop. They call him a stubborn punk and threaten to break his legs if he keeps walking. These guys really don't know who they're messing with. And Jijan's reaction? He just gives them a cold side-eye. Bro is completely unimpressed by their empty threats. With a single smooth shrug, he just slips his backpack off and keeps walking. The thugs can't believe the audacity. Okay, playtime's over. The bikers rev their engines, screaming that he's a dead man. He ducks into a tight alleyway, walking calmly. The bikers aren't giving up, screeching right in after him. But the narrow space is a huge problem for them. The scooter scrapes the wall as his buddy on the dirt bike yells at him to get out of the way. Jijan hits a massive flight of stairs. The dirt bike rider just pops a wheelie and rides right up the steps after him. What a madman. The biker barrels down another set of stairs, still shouting. But check this out. Jijan isn't running anymore. He's just waiting calmly at the top. And with god-tier timing, he punts a full garbage bag right into the biker's path. This is gonna be good. It's a direct hit. The bag smacks the rider clean in the face, sending him and his bike flying through the air in a beautiful, trashy arc. He then crashes directly into his buddy who was running up on foot. It's a perfect strike, sending them both tumbling down the stairs like bowling pins. And to add insult to injury, the bike itself comes crashing down right on top of the first guy. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Dazed and definitely bruised, the scooter dude helps his partner up, still screaming for him to get Jijan. Dude, read the room. They scramble up the stairs, but Jijan is already gone. Just kidding. They spot him in another alley, a classic bait and switch. Furious, they start the chase all over again, but Jijan leads them through a confusing maze of alleys until they completely lose him. Suddenly, they spot him again. One of the thugs goes for a flying tackle from behind, screaming that he's finally got him. He spins his target around, ready to finish it, only to find some random, terrified student. It's not Jijan at all. His partner runs up, totally confused. The first guy is so enraged by the mix-up that he just decks the poor innocent kid. What a jerk. And as they stand there completely defeated, the real Jijan watches the whole dumpster fire from a rooftop high above. He doesn't say a word, he just turns and walks away. Mission accomplished, total chaos created. Later, back at the thugs' hideout, one of them is reporting their massive failure. Apparently, Jijan politely declined their invitation. Our two failed chasers are getting punished, forced to do push-ups. They whine about how close they were, but their boss isn't hearing it and just kicks one in the face. He screams that he doesn't want excuses. Meanwhile, the big boss himself, Kang Doyle, just smirks from the sidelines, finding this all very entertaining. He turns his attention to Taksu's old lackey, Oh Sung-min. He asks if Sung-min managed to dig up any dirt on Jijan. Sung-min nervously gives his report, which is basically nothing. Jijan is late, popular with girls, and still a man of few words. Great intel, buddy. Kang Doyle is not impressed. He asks if that's seriously all he's got, and his heavy immediately grabs Sung-min by the hair. And just like that, Sung-min is forced to join the other failures on the floor, wondering how he got dragged into this mess too. Kang Doyle smiles and tells them to stop. He gives Sung-min a new mission though. Lure Jijan to the back gate after school. Simple, right? He asks if Sung-min can at least handle that, and the look on Sung-min's face says it all. The poor guy is absolutely terrified. Kang Doyle then turns to another thug, Daesik, and puts him in charge of the operation. He wants Jijan brought to him tomorrow, no excuses. Daesik confidently accepts. But meanwhile, Sung-min is having a full-blown panic attack, wondering how in the world he's going to lure a beast like Jijan anywhere. The next day, Sung-min tries to play it casual. He's holding 2 grape sodas nervously. His friend tries to grab one for himself. Sung-min just gets angry and calls him a cheapskate to deflect, because his real target is walking just a few feet ahead. You guessed it, it's Jijan. Sung-min runs up with the fakest smile you've ever seen, wishing Jijan a good morning and offering him the soda. Jijan just stares back, completely expressionless. Sung-min starts backpedaling fast, swearing he was never really one of Taksu's guys. He even tries to suck up, saying how awesome it was to see Taksu get wrecked. He offers the drink again, desperate to build some camaraderie. And Jijan's response? He just turns and walks away without saying a single word. Denied. Sung-min is left standing there like an idiot. Sung-min is fuming. This is way harder than he thought. He's terrified of what Kang Doyle will do to him if he fails this simple mission. The bell rings for lunch and everybody heads out. While everyone else is hyped to leave, Jijan is just chilling with his head on his desk. With the classroom finally empty, Jijan lifts his head. Sung-min's watching from the doorway. He'd been searching for Jijan at the cafeteria. Did he bring his own lunch? Jijan heads out to his favorite spot on the rooftop, and on a bench there's a phone just sitting there. And right on cue, the phone buzzes to life. Its screen lights up with a mysterious notification. The message is simple. It just reads, "Eating bread today too? Meanwhile, Arum is staring at her phone, completely flustered and blushing like crazy. Jijan picks up the phone curiously. This person says they've seen him eating alone on the rooftop, just like they do. The mysterious texter says they wanted to talk, which immediately puts Jijan on high alert, scanning the area for his secret admirer. Another message pops up saying they're on the opposite side. What a strange way to introduce yourself. And just like that, an arm starts waving like crazy from across the fence, trying to get his attention. Jijan takes a seat as the texts keep rolling in. The person admits they're awkward and heard he doesn't talk much either. Why aren't you talking? Comes the next text. Jijan just stares back, his thumb hovering over the keyboard. Suddenly, a loud voice shouts his name, completely startling him out of his thoughts. It's Oh Sung-min, who runs up with a ridiculously fake grin plastered on his face. Whoa, fancy meeting you here. Sung-min holds up a bag of bread, claiming he was just coming up to eat. He then asks if Jijan was eating all by himself. He's super eager to eat together, and Jijan just kind of accepts it with his usual stoic silence. So the two of them sit on the bench. Sung-min is going to town on his bread, while Jijan just sips his drink. But they're not alone. Aryum is peeking over from the next rooftop, spying on them while having her own snack. All of a sudden, Sung-min bends over and starts crying. Bro is putting on a real show. With tears streaming down his face, he blurts out, Jijan, actually, I have no friends. He tries to explain that he only hung out with Taksu's gang because he was afraid of being a total loner. Looking at Jijan with puppy dog eyes, he suggests they team up as fellow outsiders and become friends. But get this, it is all an act. Inside, Sung-min is raging, thinking, shoot, is this not working? I even squeezed out some tears. Jijan is completely unfazed. He just stands up to leave, leaving Sung-min in total disbelief. As Jijan walks away, Sung-min just loses it, screaming, no, all my effort. In a desperate move, he lunges forward and grabs Jijan's arm, pleading, we can be friends, right? He even tries clinging to Jijan's leg, but Jijan easily yanks his arm away, sending the pathetic Sung-min tumbling to his knees. Sung-min checks his phone, and it's bad news. He's got angry texts from Daesik demanding to know why he hasn't brought Jijan yet. Later in class, Daesik texts again telling him to get Jijan to the back gate. Sung-min is panicking as the teacher dismisses everyone. But he's not giving up. He clenches his fist, determined to somehow get a hold of Jijan. He rushes through the crowded hallway, terrified that his target has already gone home for the day. Peeking into their now empty classroom, he starts to panic. Oh no, there's no one inside. But then he sees him. Jijan is just sitting there on a desk by the window, looking like a main character as the curtains blow around him. Sung-min just stares, completely confused. What is this? Is he shooting a commercial by himself or something? His phone buzzes again. It's Daesik, and he is absolutely furious, screaming through the text. Taking a deep breath, Sung-min enters the classroom. Jijan, you still haven't left. He immediately launches into another fake sob story, claiming he called his mom and told her he finally made a friend. He says his mom, who works nearby, desperately wants to meet Jijan and asked him to bring him over. The lies are getting deep now. He begs Jijan, can't you just show your face in front of her for a moment, please? Sung-min's face twists with intensity as he tries to guilt-trip him. When my mom is insisting, you can't just refuse. But Jijan's silence is making him desperate. He thinks to himself, wow, are you really even thinking about it? This cold punk? Losing all his composure, he grabs Jijan by the shoulders and shakes him, yelling, hey, just a moment is fine. Aren't we friends? He literally drags Jijan out of the classroom. This way, and as they leave, Aryum watches them go. As they walk, Sung-min cheerfully explains that the back gate is a shortcut to the market. But his expression darkens as he thinks, I'm sorry, Jijan. If you're naive in this neighborhood, you can't survive. He pulls out his phone. He quickly fires off a text to Daesik, letting him know they're passing by the back gate right now. The trap is set. Just as they round the corner, a massive figure in a green tracksuit steps out, blocking their path completely. Without a word, Daesik gives Jijan an aggressive nudge with his shoulder. The force of the nudge got Jijan falling on his back as Daesik grabs the strap of his backpack to pull him closer. My, you should be more careful, Daesik sneers, clearly enjoying this. He grins like a villain. There was no point in me even waiting for you. He follows up with a brutal backhand that sends Jijan stumbling backward. This guy means business. Nice to meet you, you little punk. Daesik growls, grabbing Jijan by the throat. He mocks him. Your face is fine, but it looks like your skills were all talk. But then Jijan stomps his foot hard on top of Daesik's. Using that as a pivot, Jijan kicks off Daesik's chest and does a full backflip, sending the giant bully crashing to the ground. Jijan lands perfectly on the ground, but in the chaos, his phone slips right out of his pocket. The phone clatters onto a metal sewer grate, coming to a stop just inches from falling into the drain. That's not good. Jijan's eyes widen as he sees his phone's dangerous position. At the same time, Daesik is already getting back up. Daesik scrambles to his feet and catches Jijan off guard with a massive right hook that sends him flying across the ground. Jijan's foot conveniently kicks the phone out of the way. Problem solved. Cracking his knuckles, Daesik grins with pure malice. I'll get you on the next turn. But as Jijan slowly gets up, a dark, menacing aura starts to radiate from him. It's showtime, people. The hulking goon Daesik scoffs at Jijan. He sneers, you think you can handle this weight difference with that scrawny body? But Jijan isn't fazed one bit. His eyes are like ice, cold and locked on his target. Watching from a corner, Oh Sung-min is already apologizing in his head. He thinks, sorry Jijan. With a furious roar, Daesik charges forward like a freight train ready to completely flatten Jijan. But wait, at the very last second he grabs his backpack. What's the plan here? He uses it to block the full force of Daesik's punch. That's some insane split-second thinking right there. The impact still sends him soaring, and he violently slams against the wall. Daesik is stunned. He lets out a creepy laugh, using your backpack to cushion the blow. He grins like a maniac. Aren't you a lot smarter than you look? Unfazed, Jijan calmly dumps the rest of his school supplies out of his ruined backpack. Daesik isn't waiting around. He charges again, screaming, a trick like that won't work anymore. But Jijan is way too quick for him, easily ducking under the wild telegraph swing. His eyes are laser-focused, already setting up the counterattack. And there it is. He whips the empty backpack strap right around Daesik's ankle. With one powerful tug, he yanks the big man's leg straight out from under him. Daesik's face twists in pure shock as he starts to lose his balance. He never saw this coming. The huge goon comes crashing down hard onto the pavement. David versus Goliath, folks. Absolutely enraged, Daesik pushes himself up, screaming, you little punk. But Jijan isn't giving him a second to breathe. He's already leaping into the air. But suddenly, he stops barely an inch from the thug's head. Daesik can barely believe what's happening. The audacity of this guy. He's absolutely seething, yelling, who are you trying to show off for? Jijan doesn't need to say a word. He unleashes a devastating axe kick straight down onto Daesik's head. The power is insane. The force of the blow sends Daesik reeling. Oh, Sung-min is completely speechless. What just happened? Jijan beat Hwang Daesik. Daesik is completely out cold, collapsing to the ground. And just like that, the fight is over. Jijan calmly turns away like it was nothing. His eyes land on his phone, which is lying dangerously close to a sewer grate. But suddenly, a voice screams from behind him. It's not over yet, Jijan. Oh no. Daesik, bloody but not broken, lunges up from the ground. This guy is tough. Jijan reacts instantly, spinning with a kick that knocks Daesik back down again. But in the chaos, his phone gets knocked loose and is sent flying through the air. Jijan makes a desperate dive for it, but he's just a second too slow. Daesik snatches it right off the ground. He grins maliciously. Is this what's so important to you? Wiping blood from his nose, he says, my only job is to take you to Doyle. Pity I can't drag your half-dead body to him. He snaps his fingers. Suddenly, a scooter comes speeding down the alley, seemingly out of nowhere. Daesik hops on the back and issues a challenge. Come to Satgil Park if you want this back. He gives a menacing look over his shoulder. Your welcome party is already prepared. And with that, they speed off, leaving Jijan and a totally stunned Oh Sung-min in the alley. Sung-min rushes over to Jijan, completely frantic. Jijan, are you alright? Are you hurt anywhere? He grabs Jijan's face, anxiously checking him for any injuries. He's relieved he's okay, but then the panic sets in. That was so close. But what are you gonna do now? They took your phone. He's shouting, they'll get all your private information. This could get really bad. You can meet my mom next time. For now, you should hurry and go to Satgil Park, he tells Jijan. Okay, I've done my part. Doesn't matter if he goes or not, he thinks to himself. But as he turns to make his escape, he sees that Jijan is already walking away. Sung-min is stunned. Where are you going? Are you really going after them just for a phone? Jijan doesn't even look back. He just walks forward with total purpose, heading straight into the lion's den. He arrives at Satgil Park and begins to climb a long flight of wooden stairs. At the top, a few delinquents are already waiting for him, just lounging around and smoking. The welcoming party, I guess. His expression is grim. He knows this isn't going to be easy. And he was right. It's not just a few guys, it's a whole crew. But Jinjan stands his ground, fists clenched at his sides, ready for whatever comes next. And there, sitting in a gazebo in the middle of them all, is the man himself, Kang Doyle. Doyle's eyes narrow, and then a cruel smirk spreads across his face. Well now, this is nice. He holds up the cracked smartphone. You came all this way for this, right? Jijan walks straight towards him, passing right through the crowd of thugs without a hint of fear. Doyle casually inspects the phone. Doesn't seem like there's anything important on here. No numbers saved, no call records either. He continues, the only thing it has is a couple of texts from a girl who's been watching you. Oh, this just got interesting. Doyle looks up at Jijan, clearly amused. But seeing how you actually came all the way here just to get this phone back, Jijan stops right in front of him and holds out his hand, demanding it back. Doyle just grins, taunting him. Is she your girlfriend? Or just a little fling? Jijan's expression darkens as Doyle shouts, man, now I'm all curious. So I sent her a text, Doyle says, his eyes gleaming with mischief. It was just so frustrating to watch. He adds with a wicked grin, I texted her something to get things moving along. Meanwhile, Aryun feels her own phone buzz in her pocket. She pulls it out and looks at the screen, a completely confused expression on her face. It's a message from Jijan's number starting with a simple, hey. But the next message is shockingly direct. I'm feeling lonely right now. Want to meet up? Then it drops an absolute bombshell. If you come to Satgil Park, you'll be my girlfriend starting today. And look who sent it. This punk Doyle, smirking while holding Jijan's phone. He figures if the girl actually shows up, it's proof she likes him. but Jijan just stares him down, giving absolutely nothing away. His face is like a stone wall. Doyle jokes that Jijan will owe him big time once he lands the girl. What a friend, right? Jijan doesn't say a word. He just holds out his hand, silently demanding his phone back. But Doyle just pulls it away, totally unimpressed. You want this, he asks, like it's some kind of game. One of his goons, Dasik, chimes in, bragging that his crew worked hard to drag Jijan here. Doyle goes on that Taksu probably deserved it. But you see, there are rules around here. Jijan beat up one of his men, and for that, there's a price. Doyle looks him up and down with a smirk. You came here prepared to pay it, right? Jijan remains completely silent, which just makes Doyle chuckle. He clearly finds this amusing. Doyle then holds up Jijan's phone. The deal is simple. If Jijan can hold on to this while fighting his entire crew, he gets it back. Since you're a transfer, you don't know how things work around here. He explains that in this neighborhood, the ranking fights are everything. It's a brutal system. The moment you mess with Taksu, he declares, you officially join the ranking fight. With a wild grin, Doyle shouts, so let's see how skilled you really are. Dasik gets right up in Jijan's face, cackling. This is the place of revenge, Jijan. And with no warning, he throws a massive punch right at Jijan's head. But check this out. Jijan takes the hit and doesn't even flinch. His expression is completely unchanged. Dasik is absolutely stunned, his shock quickly turning to rage. You punk. He screams at the rest of the crew, what are you all doing? Get this guy. A thug in a red hat throws the first punch, but Jijan effortlessly puts up a block. You can see his hand clenching into a tight fist. He's ready. He even catches another thug's fist midair, stopping the attack cold, but it's a numbers game. He's quickly overwhelmed as the others swarm in, landing punches from all sides. Even as the beating continues, there's a sharp glint of light reflecting in his eye. He takes a brutal shot right to the face that would knock anyone else out. Then another one to the gut that doubles him over. This is getting rough. A thug grabs him by the hair, holding him in place for the next attack. He takes another devastating punch to the side of the head with a sickening impact. And once he's on the ground, a foot comes down hard, stomping on him. The gang is relentless, kicking and punching him from every single angle. Doyle watches the whole thing, looking confused. Why is he only defending, he wonders. He starts to think that maybe Jijan just isn't interested in their little ranking fight at all. One of the thugs points out that Jijan hasn't even screamed. Is he really risking his life just to stay quiet? This gives Doyle a twisted idea. A depraved look crosses his face. I wonder what kind of voice will come out of someone like him. So he raises the stakes, shouting to his crew, anyone who makes that guy scream, I'll give you the limited edition Jordan Nikic. The thug's eyes immediately light up with greed. Really? Awesome. The promise of rare sneakers sends them into a total frenzy, and they descend on Jijan all over again. Doyle screams at him, Jijan, show your skills. Prove to me that you're a rare item. Dasik shoves his way through the crowd, yelling for everyone to move out of his way. He taunts the beaten Jijan, asking where his fighting spirit went and if he's scared now. Dasik connects with a brutal uppercut, sending spit and blood flying through the air. The blow knocks Jijan flat on his back. He looks utterly defeated. He's struggling to breathe, his face a mess of bruises and blood, but incredibly, his eyes are still open. This isn't enough for one of the goons, who decides to take things to a whole new level by picking up a huge rock. He grins like a maniac, raising the rock high above his head. I'll make this guy scream. He gloats that he never liked Jijan's face anyway, and this will solve everything. But before he can bring it down, a foot slams into his head with incredible force. It's Doyle. He stands over the downed thug and coldly asks, do you want to die? He then turns back to Jijan, grabbing him by the collar and pulling him up. He gets right in his face. Do you enjoy this? You're trying to hide something, aren't you? He tells Jijan that this will never end, not until he proves his worth. Meanwhile, hiding behind a tree, Seung-min is watching the whole thing unfold, feeling absolutely terrible for Jijan. He knows Doyle's gang is on a completely different level than Taksu's crew. This is serious. Suddenly his eyes widen as he notices someone else approaching the park. At that exact moment, Jijan's phone, still in Doyle's hand, lights up with a brand new message. The message is simple and direct. Please let him go. Doyle looks up from the screen, his eyes wide with genuine surprise, and there she is. It's the girl, Aram. She's standing at the edge of the clearing, her face hidden in the shadows. Doyle's shock melts into a wicked grin as he looks at Jijan. Perhaps you'll find your will to fight now. Your little fling has arrived. He gives a subtle nod to one of his thugs, who smirks and says, okay. The thug starts walking towards Aram, waving his hand. Hey, come a little closer. Aram doesn't move. Instead, she starts typing a reply on her phone. But before she can send it, the thug rushes up behind her. He violently grabs her by the arm, stopping her cold. Wow, he leers, pulling her close. You're actually pretty. She tries to pull away, but he yanks her back. Where do you think you're going? You came here by yourself, didn't you? Watching from the trees, Seung-min's face twists in horror. What? That's Aram. He's completely panicked. He has no idea what he's supposed to do now. He instinctively takes a step forward to help, snapping a twig under his foot. The thug just grins at Aram. You should go see your boyfriend's face. Let's go. But Seung-min freezes up. He's too terrified to intervene and can only watch them go. The thug announces his success, confirming he's dragged Aram into the park just like he was ordered. Up until now, Jijan has taken the entire beating without making a sound, but seeing her here, something finally snaps. Ahiram's terrified face triggers a flashback for Jijan, a memory of her showing him a simple moment of kindness on a rainy day, and how she tried to connect with him despite his lack of reaction. Back in the present, Aram flinches in fear, the thug's grip leaving angry red marks on her arm. And that is it. That is the absolute last straw. The empty look in Jijan's eyes is instantly replaced by pure, unadulterated rage. The thugs are in total shock. They can't believe their eyes she actually came. One of the goons grinds his foot on Jijan's head and sneers at her. He says Jijan is busy getting a little educations right now. Ariam's hands are trembling, but she immediately tries to de-escalate by typing a frantic message on her phone. But instead of speaking, she just stands there in complete silence. The thugs are totally baffled.
Why isn't she talking?
The leader, Doyle, absolutely loses it and starts laughing. He just realized she's silent, just like Jijan. The whole crew starts mocking them, calling them a weirdo chat couple. Doyle, being the menace he is, turns this into a sick game. He smirks and says he'll reward whoever can make one of them talk. The big goon's eyes light up with a creepy glint. He asks if the girl is fair game, and Doyle just gives him the green light. And just like that, a couple of creeps start closing in on Ariam. One of them says if she can't talk, she can't say no. Seriously messed up. One grabs her wrist, demanding she speak, while another gets way too close and starts messing with her hair. All the while, Jijan is watching from the ground, and the look in his eyes is pure, unfiltered rage as the creep asks about her shampoo. Doyle just keeps poking the bear, taunting Jijan. He asks if he's just gonna sit there and let this happen. Another thug escalates things, grabbing Ariam's face to force her to talk. From behind a tree, a terrified Sungmin can only watch in horror. The thug tightens his grip, screaming right in her face to say something. This is their biggest mistake. But before he can finish his sentence, a fist comes flying out of nowhere and absolutely decks him. It's Jijan. He's on his feet, and he's already laid out one of the thugs who touched Ariam. The switch has been flipped. Without even a second's pause, he unloads another brutal punch right into the face of the guy who grabbed her. Some dude with pink hair thinks he can take him on. Nope. He gets sent flying backwards from a single powerful hit. And look at Doyle. He is absolutely loving this. He's ecstatic that Jijan is finally showing his true colors. In a flash, Jijan moves to stand directly in front of Ariam, becoming her human shield. Protector mode is activated. The rest of the gang, completely furious now, all scream and charge at him at the same time. But it's no use. Jijan is like a whirlwind, effortlessly dodging and weaving through every single attack they throw at him. He grabs one by the face and slams a vicious knee right into his gut. He follows it up with a nasty elbow strike to the back of the head. That guy is definitely out for the count. Another one comes in with a kick, but Jijan just casually trips him up, sending him face-planting into the dirt. Seeing his boys get absolutely dismantled, the big thug Dasik roars that he's going to end this himself and charges in. Dasik throws a kick, but Jijan catches it. He twists him off balance and delivers a bone-crushing stomp right to his face. Dasik stumbles back in shock and throws a massive haymaker, but Jijan just ducks under it like it's nothing. Jijan then spins and unleashes an insane high kick that connects perfectly with Dasik's jaw. What a clean hit. Doyle is watching, completely captivated by the show. He mutters with a sick smile that Jijan is a rare item. Jijan closes the gap and drives a powerful knee straight into Dasik's gut, making the huge guy scream in pure agony. With Dasik doubled over in pain, Jijan raises his clasped hands high over his head, prepping a finishing blow, and he brings them down in a devastating hammer fist, smashing Dasik's face straight into the pavement with sickening force. Dasik, the walking tank, is out cold. The others stare in horror for a second before screaming and charging in again. Jijan just becomes a blur of destruction. He launches himself into the air and takes out multiple guys at once with a flurry of kicks. Doyle is watching this beautiful carnage with a chilling grin. He's thinking, who is this guy? He's way beyond his wildest expectations. But then one of the last thugs makes a cowardly move. He grabs Aram from behind and puts her in a chokehold, screaming at Jijan to kneel. This sight immediately triggers a dark memory for Jijan. He sees another girl, a blonde one, held in the exact same way, screaming his name. And just like that, something inside him snaps. A strange purple energy flickers in his eye as he takes a single, deliberate step forward. The thug starts to panic, screaming at him not to come any closer, but you know Jijan is not listening. While the coward is distracted, another guy tries to sucker punch Jijan. Big mistake. He gets a bone-shattering fist to the face without Jijan even looking. With that out of the way, Jijan turns his full, unrestrained fury on the guy who's holding Ariam. The thug is screaming in pure terror now, begging for his life as Jijan approaches. But it is way too late for apologies. Jijan's fist connects and the impact is absolutely devastating, and he is not done. Jijan raises his foot, ready to bring it down with brutal finality. The guy can only whimper that he was wrong, but one look at Jijan's cold, empty glare tells you there is zero mercy left. He just keeps punching, and that strange purple energy starts glowing in his eye again. Suddenly, Doyle steps in and grabs Jijan's arm mid-swing. He yells at him to stop, saying it is enough. He then holds out Jijan's phone, telling him to take it. Looking down at the battered but victorious Jijan, Doyle declares that he's earned it back. He passed the test. He even offers Jijan a spot in his crew, admitting he's way too valuable of a fighter to pass up. But Jijan completely ignores the offer. He slowly gets to his feet, clenching his bloodied fist, and walks towards Doyle. Doyle is completely confused, yelling after him that it is all over. Doyle's friendly facade instantly vanishes, replaced by something else. What is with the attitude? I told you that's enough. Jijan attacks. A manic, unhinged grin spreads across Doyle's face. He gets into position and he's lightning fast. He completely dodges Jijan's blow and counters almost immediately. It connects with a massive impact, and a flash of that same purple energy explodes from the blow. The sheer force of the punch sends Jijan flying backward through the air like a ragdoll. He crashes to the ground, seemingly out cold. Doyle stands over him with a smug, twisted grin. He smugly says, I told you to stop, didn't I? Jijan is on the ground, completely gassed and beaten to a pulp, just trying to catch his breath. Kang Doyle looms over him with a smug grin, telling him he'll be back for that answer soon enough. He gives the order, and his equally wrecked crew starts to pull back. The beatdown is over, for now. As they limp away, one of his guys can't help but wonder, who in the world was that monster they just fought? Even Dasik, his face a total wreck, is confused. He asks Doyle why he'd still want to recruit a guy who just handed them their butts. Doyle just touches his busted lip and admits that even he got chills when Jijan went berserk. He flashes back to that insane counter. He was sure he dodged it, but Jijan's speed was on another level. The guy has a genius-level talent for hitting weak points. Doyle isn't just mad, he's seriously impressed. Then he gets this totally unhinged look in his eyes. This dude is obsessed, declaring he's going to make Jijan his, one way or another. Later we find Jijan slumped on a park bench. RM shows up and you can see the pure worry in her eyes. But Jijan just stares at the ground, his face a mess of cuts and bruises, completely shutting her out. You can see her heart breaking right there. A single tear falls and then she just bolts. Then his phone starts buzzing. He checks it, and it's a text from Ariam. She's running to get medicine for him and asked him to wait. But seeing her message triggers something, a dark memory starts to surface. He's thrown back to that horrifying moment when one of the goons was holding her hostage, screaming at Jijan to get on his knees or she gets hurt. He snaps back to reality, but his face is stone cold. That memory changed everything. He picks up the phone, gives it one last look, and leaves it behind. He just walks away, abandoning it completely. But hold on, he wasn't alone. Oh Sung-min was hiding behind a tree and he saw everything. He's totally speechless, calling Jijan unreal. Sung-min realizes that the new transfer student isn't just some guy, he's a certified monster. Then he spots the phone on the bench. He recognizes it instantly. It's the same one he saw at the school shoe racks. And all the pieces click into place. He realizes Arun must be the one who gave Jijan that phone. Just then, he hears footsteps. Oh no, it's Arun. And she's running right back to the bench. Sung-min totally panics. He looks at the phone in his hand and just makes a break for it. Arun gets back with a bag full of medicine, only to find the bench empty. Meanwhile, as Sung-min is booking it, the phone lights up again. It's another text from Ariam, asking if Jijan is okay. Reading this makes Sung-min furious. How could Jijan just abandon his phone when Ariam is so worried about him? He's totally conflicted. Should he reply and put her mind at ease, or just ignore it? He scrolls up and sees her first text, introducing herself and saying she wants to get to know him. His heart just sinks. He's completely overwhelmed. Does he ignore her, or does he pretend to be Jijan? Back at the bench, Ariam's phone buzzes. She looks down and sees a reply. Just one word. Okay, but that one word is enough. The next day at school, things are about to get crazy. Sung-min's friend is glued to his phone, his jaw on the floor. And what's he watching? It's a video of Jijan single-handedly dismantling Doyle's entire crew. His friend can't believe it's the same transfer student. Sung-min admits he was so shocked he barely managed to hit record. The friend is convinced Jijan is going to be super popular, but Sung-min just mutters that he already is. The salt is real, folks. He's just fuming, because he's 100% sure his crush, Ariam, has a thing for Jijan. Bro is having a complete meltdown. He's mad, Jijan is ghosting her, but also kinda relieved. He's a mess. His friend sees a golden opportunity. He says the video would go viral and snatches the phone, ready to upload it. Sung-min chases after him but ends up crashing right into another student, knocking the guy's tie clip to the floor. He looks up and freezes. It's Kim Jinwoo, the number 2 ranked fighter of the sophomores, and he does not look happy. Sung-min is completely paralyzed with fear, barely able to stammer out the infamous fighter's name. He scrambles to pick up the tie clip, nervously offering to put it back on for him. But Jinwoo's not having it. He just smacks Sung-min hard across the face and tells him to go get his crew. His friend runs over to help, but Sung-min just screams at him, blaming him for the whole mess. His friend tells him to calm down, saying he's lucky it was just one slap. Apparently, Jinwoo is known for having a seriously bad temper, but Sung-min's not listening. His eyes are locked on Yena, who's walking with Jijan and pointing at the cuts on his face. Watching them walk off together sends Sung-min into a jealous rage. He just can't stand how popular Jijan is. He is absolutely fuming. First it was Ariam and now Yena too. Why does this guy get all the attention? And speak of the devil, He turns around, and there she is. Aram is walking right down the street. He quickly tries to play it cool, stammering out a greeting as she gets closer, and she walks right past him without a single glance. Ouch. That's a critical hit to the ego. That's when he gets an idea. If he can't get Aram's attention directly, maybe he needs to get close to Jijan first. Suddenly, his friend pops up out of nowhere with a wicked grin on his face, holding out the phone. On the screen is the fight video, queued up and ready to post with the title, "Holy Cow, Transfer Student." And before Seungmin can do a single thing to stop him, his friend hits the upload button. It's done. We change scenes to the classroom. A pack of bullies has cornered their favorite punching bag, and they're getting artsy with it. And with a final smack, the masterpiece is complete. They've drawn a smiley face on the back of his head, calling it an improvement. Seriously? The poor victim, Guman, looks completely broken as his tormentors howl with laughter. But the humiliation isn't over. Their next brilliant idea is to make him walk backwards for the rest of the day. Terrified and confused, Guman actually starts to shuffle backwards, right as they guide him towards the stairs. You know what's coming next. Guman loses his footing completely and takes a nasty tumble headfirst down the entire flight of stairs. And the bullies, they just stand at the top, laughing their heads off and calling him an idiot. Just pure evil. But just before Guman smashes into the landing, a blur of motion appears out of nowhere and catches him. It's Jijan. He just saved Guman from a trip to the hospital, and Guman stares back in total shock. Yena rushes over to check if Guman is alright. He's shaken, but says he's fine. That's when Yena finally sees it. She spots the ridiculous drawing on his head and completely loses it. Guman just apologizes pathetically while Jijan watches the whole scene with a cold, unreadable face. Seeing Jijan's stone-cold expression, Guman can't help but think to himself, he's the only one not laughing at me. As his silent savior walks away, Guman musters up the courage to shout, "Thank you, Jijan." Meanwhile, in another part of the school, something big is about to go down in the gymnasium. Inside, it's an all-out brawl. Students are trading heavy blows in an unofficial fight club. A huge crowd has gathered around them, cheering, jeering, and probably betting their lunch money on the outcome. But one person is not impressed. Kim Jin-woo sits on the bleachers, looking totally bored by the amateur display. Suddenly, his lackey runs up and shoves a phone in his face. It's a crazy fight video of some new transfer student. And this video is absolutely blowing up online. The views are climbing and the comments are going wild. Jin-woo's interest is finally piqued. He asks if the guy is from their school, and his buddy confirms the uniform matches. A menacing grin spreads across Jin-woo's face. If this monster is really at their school, things are about to get very interesting. He stands up, silencing the crowd. He needs to know everything about this transfer student, and he needs to know now. One of the fighters points out there's a quiet new kid over in class 5, and then he drops the bomb. The word on the street is that this new guy is the one who hospitalized Taksu. Jin-woo's grin widens. So he's the one who took out Taksu? He orders his men to dig up everything they can on him. Later during lunch, Guman actually turns down his friends, saying he has other plans. He works up the nerve to approach Jijan, offering to share the bread he bought as a thank you. Hey, maybe we can eat lunch together once in a while, Guman says. But Jijan just stays silent. But their unlikely lunch date is immediately crashed by Oh Seung-min, who declares he was waiting for Jijan the whole time. Seung-min gets right in Guman's face, demanding to know why they're together. He insists he's the one who should be eating with Jijan. Then Seung-min notices the drawing on Guman's head and starts laughing his head off. Man, this kid has no filter. Guman tries to defend himself, but Seung-min just keeps roasting his ridiculous new haircut. Guman dramatically declares that his head is living proof of bullying and the truth must be seen. Can you take my picture? Guman asks. Cut the BS, Seung-min shoots back. A few minutes later, a confused Seung-min is snapping photos, having absolutely no idea what's even happening anymore. Just then, his phone buzzes. It's a message from Aryam, and his face instantly turns bright red. He makes up a lame excuse and sprints away, leaving Guman and Jijan behind. The text from Aram just says, "Have a nice lunch." Seung-min is on cloud 9, clutching his phone like a treasure. Meanwhile, Aram gets a reply that says, "You too." A small, happy blush appears on her face as well. But back with Seung-min, his happiness turns to sheer horror as the rooftop door opens. A shadow falls over him. A tough-looking student named No Jamin strides in. Jamin has tracked them all the way to the rooftop. He smirks, saying the rumors are true about the transfer student's lunch spot. He confidently walks towards Jijan, holding up a phone playing that viral fight video. "This is you, isn't it?" Jijan just stares at the phone while Seung-min looks like he's about to have a heart attack. That idiot friend of his uploaded the video. Poor Guman is completely lost, sweating buckets and wondering what in the world is going on. But Jamin knows exactly why he's here. He challenges Jijan directly, telling him to get up and show him what he's got. Jijan doesn't even move. He just stares ahead blankly. Jamin gets angry and shouts, "Hey, I said get up." Losing his patience, Jamin snaps and throws a punch that stops just a single inch from Jijan's face. And Jijan's reaction? Nothing. He doesn't even blink. He just looks bored, which is the ultimate sign of disrespect. Jamin is practically shaking with rage at being ignored so completely. He taunts him, trying to get any kind of reaction. Finally snapping, he screams that if Jijan won't get motivated, he'll just beat him into it. He winds up for a full power punch. "If you're not going to say anything, then I'll just beat you up," Jamin screams. But Jijan's reflexes are on another level. He ducks under the sloppy punch with zero effort. And without even a moment's hesitation, he counters with a brutal kick right to Jaemin's shin. The impact sends Jaemin stumbling forward, completely losing his balance. His face meets the wooden bench with a sickening crack. Ouch, that had to hurt. Jaemin hits the deck, screaming in agony while everyone just stands there, totally stunned. He pulls his hand away, revealing a face full of blood. Yep, that nose is definitely broken. Jijan just stares him down with this dark, terrifying silence. Jaemin is absolutely petrified and scrambles to his feet. Screaming his head off, he turns tail and bolts out of there as fast as his legs can carry him. Seungmin and Guman are left completely speechless, just wondering what in the world just happened. Guman turns to Jijan, his face a mask of pure awe. He can't believe it. Who the heck are you? You're crazy. Seungmin whispers that he's the dude who sent Taksu to the hospital, and Guman is floored. Guman's admiration is through the roof. He knew Jijan was different, but this is a whole new level of cool. But Seungmin gets serious, warning them that Jaemin's appearance means big trouble is on the way. He explains that Jaemin works for Kim Jinwoo's crew. They scout strong fighters and force them into a secret fighting ring in the gym. And Seungmin drops the bombshell. Jijan is their next target. Guman can't even process that there's a fight club at their school. He adds that some students even join willingly to make cash. With Jijan's insane skills, he could make a fortune. Guman bonks his head, furious that Seungmin wants Jijan to join. Seungmin quickly clarifies that he just has faith in Jijan's strength to handle it. So Guman turns to the silent Jijan and puffs out his chest. He declares that he'll reject the offer for him. He figures Jijan hates fighting and attention, right? So he's gonna be the one to talk to them on his behalf. Guman throws an arm around Jijan's shoulder with a huge grin. He says that's what friends are for. Friends? Why are you acting like you're close to him? Seungmin is not having it, calling him out. But Guman proudly announces they're already friends. Later, back in the classroom, the air is thick with whispers and gossip. But the second Jijan and Guman walk in, the room goes silent. All eyes are on them. Instantly, a crowd swarms Jijan, shoving a phone in his face. It turns out he's gone viral. The phone is playing a shaky video of that insane brawl at the park. They're all desperate for confirmation. But Guman steps up, playing bodyguard. He tells everyone to back off and go through him if they have something to say. The other students just scoff, mocking Guman for latching onto the new popular guy. But suddenly, the classroom door slams open with a deafening crash, and in walks Kim Jinwoo with a lackey. Their entrance instantly silences the entire room. A wave of pure fear washes over the students. They know exactly who this is. Jinwoo stands at the front of the class and calmly asks for the new transfer student. Without a word, every single pair of eyes in the room drifts to the back, landing right on Jijan. Jinwoo locks his gaze onto Jijan. He and his enforcer start walking down the aisle straight for him. But just as they reach his desk, Guman stands up, blocking their path. You gotta admire the courage. Who the heck are you? Jinwoo glares. Guman nervously stammers that he's Jijan's friend and representative. He says they can talk to him instead. Jinwoo's lackey gets right in Guman's face, mocking him for thinking he's some kind of big shot. And before Guman can even react, the goon decks him right in the face with a brutal punch. Are you an idiot, representative? Guman stumbles back, clutching his face as the lackey sneers at him. He then grabs Guman by the collar, laughing at how ridiculous he looks. With Guman taken care of, Jinwoo finally steps up to Jijan's desk. He gets straight to the point. He asks Jijan if he's the one who messed up Jaemin's nose. Jijan just stares back, his expression giving absolutely nothing away. Jinwoo pulls out a black card with a snarling dog on it. It's an invitation to the gymnasium's fight club, known as Hound Dog. He explains his scout already tried and failed, so he came himself, holding the card out to Jijan. He pushes the card closer, asking the million-dollar question, doesn't he want to make some money? Even while dazed, Guman tries to speak up, insisting that Jijan doesn't want to fight. Jinwoo's face darkens with pure rage. He's had enough of Guman's interruptions. He snaps, delivering a vicious kick to Guman's stomach that sends him flying across the room. Jinwoo stands over him, absolutely furious, screaming at him for not knowing his place. He roars at him to stay down before starting to stomp on Guman over and over again. The rest of the class can only watch in absolute horror as the one-sided beatdown continues. But then, a hand shoots out and grabs Jinwoo's shirt, stopping him mid-stomp. Jinwoo spins around, shocked. It's Jijan, and his eyes are filled with a cold, terrifying fury. Jijan looks up at him, his expression dangerously calm. You know things are about to get real. Get your hands off, Jinwoo warns. But Jijan's grip only tightens. Jinwoo says he really hates being touched, but Jijan doesn't budge. Suddenly, the lackey snaps. He screams at Jijan to get his hands off his boss and throws a wild punch. But that punch was moving in slow motion for Jijan. He effortlessly ducks under the attack, making it look easy. And in one single fluid motion, he pivots and drives a vicious elbow strike right into the lackey's face. The impact is absolutely devastating. The goon's head snaps back as blood flies from his mouth, and Jijan just stands there, his expression cold as ice. And just like that, Jinwoo's lackey is eating the classroom floor. That elbow strike was absolutely brutal. But he's not done yet. Fueled by pure rage, he grabs a chair and screams, "You're dead. You hear me? Dead." And Jijan? He just stands there, completely unfazed. He watches the guy charge like it's a slow-motion movie. With some insane parkour moves, he vaults over a desk, easily dodging the wild swing. He lands on another desk like a cat and immediately launches himself forward again. In a split second, he's airborne, delivering a devastating kick right to the dude's jaw. And that is a knockout. The goon collapses in a heap, completely lights out. The entire class is just staring, completely speechless. Guman and his crew finally realize that viral video was 100% real. But the dude isn't done yet. He picks up the nearest desk and is about to yeet it at Jijan while screaming, "Let's see who'll be dead at the end of this." Right on cue, a teacher walks in. "Jijan, what are you doing up there?" he yells, completely lost. Seeing the absolute chaos, the teacher starts panicking, demanding to know what is going on. But Jinwoo, smooth as ever, steps in. He puts an arm around his beaten-up buddy and smirks, "Relax, teach, it's just a joke. We're not fighting." Then he turns his ice-cold gaze to Guman. "Hey, Representative," he says with a grin. "You'll be my contact for him now, right?" As he leaves with his crew, Jinwoo gives Jijan one last look. "I'll see you again, Jijan." He even has the nerve to pat the stunned teacher on the shoulder, telling him not to be so nervous. The disrespect is unreal. After school, the fight is all anyone can talk about. Sungmin is absolutely kicking himself for missing what his friend calls a scene straight out of a movie. They wonder where Jijan is, figuring the teacher kept him behind for the brawl. But surprise, Jijan isn't in trouble at all. He's in the counseling room and the teacher just offered him some green tea. The teacher admits he was against Jijan transferring here. He was worried the kid wouldn't fit in. He was worried about Jijan's silence, but agreed because Jijan's father, an old friend, trusted him. He remembers the last time he saw Jijan, 4 years ago, back when he was in middle school. A flashback kicks in, showing a younger Jijan with a bowl cut, just wailing on a punching bag. The kid already had insane power. His father proudly introduces the teacher. A sweat-drenched but super polite young Jijan immediately bows and greets him. His dad boasts about how strong Jijan will be, while the two old friends make plans to grab drinks later. Back in the present, the teacher sighs. He remarks how much Jijan has changed from that bright, energetic kid. He lets Jijan know that the other teachers are aware of his situation, but handling problems with other students, that is on him. He offers some final wisdom. His father's training was about more than just being physically strong. The teacher believes Jijan will eventually break his silence, and as he says this, rain begins to pour outside. Meanwhile, Soon-min and his buddy are caught in the downpour. They assume Jinwoo has finally given up on recruiting Jijan. Suddenly, the burner phone Arum gave to Jijan buzzes, but it is in Seungmin's pocket. He pulls it out. It is a message from Arum. "Do you have an umbrella?" Seungmin's face goes completely red. He quickly texts back, "Why?" She replies, telling him to meet her at the stationery store. His mind starts racing as he sprints towards the store. Is she really waiting for him with an umbrella? He peeks around the corner, and his heart just sinks. There is Arum, holding an umbrella, clearly waiting for Jijan. Seungmin starts to panic. He thinks about getting Jijan, but his jealousy takes over. "No way, I cannot let them share an umbrella." But then, a crazy idea hits him. He imagines himself walking under that umbrella with them too. This dude is plotting. With his new plan locked in, Seungmin sprints back to the school to find Jijan, leaving Arum waiting in the rain. Moments later, Seungmin shows up with his arm around Jijan's shoulder like they are best buds. "Oh Han Arum," he says, acting all surprised. Ahiram just stares back, completely confused by this bizarre new friendship. The rain keeps falling as Jijan and Arum share an intense, silent look. But instead of offering to share her umbrella, she reaches in her bag and pulls another one out to them. And Seungmin's heart shatters. He realizes she was never going to share. The umbrella was always just for Jijan. A fire lights up in his eyes. He thinks, just once, I want her to look at me. Not Jijan, but me, Oh Seungmin. He snatches the umbrella and throws his arm around Jijan, thanking Arum like they are a team. He makes up a story about how they were just about to check out a new game center together. Then he completely throws her off, asking if she wants to join them. Arum is just standing there, totally stunned. Meanwhile, Guman is desperately running through the rain, clutching his head in panic. He sprints around a corner and freezes in pure terror. He has just run straight into an ambush. It is Jinwoo's goon, nose still bandaged from the fight. He greets Guman with a sinister smile. "Welcome, Representative." Guman is trapped between the two thugs. He stammers, "Well, what do you want?" The goon just sneers back. "You said you are the representative. I have got a little message for you to pass on to Jijan." In a dark, rain-slicked alley, the only sound is the brutal thud of fist meeting flesh. No Jaemin, his face all taped up, looms over a battered Guman. He demands to know what Guman is supposed to do. Bloody and bruised, Guman can barely choke out the words. He has to make Jijan participate. Jaemin grabs him by the shirt, sneering at him. Then he lands another vicious punch right to the gut, tears streaming down his face. Guman finally breaks. He promises he'll talk to him. Jaemin delivers a final, chilling threat. The price for failure is his life. He's going to die. Guman is completely broken, able to do nothing but groan in pain. But then, a calm voice cuts through the rain. It's Kim Jinwoo telling Jaemin to back off before the guy wets himself. He coolly pulls out a black card with a snarling red dog. The words Hound Dog are printed right below it. Jinwoo flicks the card right at Guman's head, telling him to give it to Jijan. With a sinister smile, Jinwoo delivers the invitation. "Welcome to the Hound Dog fighting pits." He and his crew just walk away laughing, leaving Guman collapsed in the pouring rain. Meanwhile, at an arcade, Seungmin screams with determination. He's ready to take on Jijan, The challenge, a game of air hockey. Seung-min is ready to prove he's the best. He unleashes a powerful shot, thinking his gaming skills are unmatched. He really wants Arum to see him win this. Ahiram just watches on, her expression totally unreadable. The score is still 0-0, but with a simple flick of his wrist, Jijan effortlessly scores. Seung-min is completely shocked. Trying to save face, Seung-min just laughs it off. He claims he was giving Jijan a handicap. Sure, buddy. He tries to get serious again, but Jijan unleashes a lightning-fast flurry of shots. The pucks just keep scoring, one after another. Seung-min is left completely dumbfounded. He can't believe it. Jijan can even put a weird spin on the puck. How is he so good at this? The game turns into a complete massacre. It's an absolute blowout. The final score is 13-0. Seung-min hangs his head in defeat, muttering about how Jijan didn't even let him get a single point. Trying to recover, he tells Arim it's her turn. He's hoping she'll see Jijan's cold side and get turned off. So Arim and Jijan silently take their places at the table. Their game begins, and the puck flies back and forth. It's actually a super even rally, and Arim finally scores. Seung-min is completely outraged. He yells at Jijan, asking where that crazy spin move went. It's obvious Jijan is going easy on Arim. The two of them share an intense gaze across the table. Seething with jealousy, Seung-min declares his next move. He's going to win her over with the claw machine. He nearly snags a cute pink teddy bear, but it slips from the claw at the last second. So close. He yells in frustration but tries to play it cool for Arim, promising he'll get it next time. He tries again and gets even closer, but fails again. Totally enraged, he starts punching the machine, yelling that it's rigged. While Seung-min is throwing a tantrum, Jijan calmly steps up. One press of the button, and he wins on his first try. Seung-min is left completely speechless. Jijan effortlessly wins not one but two stuffed bears. Jijan hands the pink bear to Arim, and the brown one to a stunned Seung-min. What a power move. Ahiram actually blushes a little, thanking him. Meanwhile, Seung-min is having a full-on internal meltdown.
Is there anything this guy can't do?
Getting desperate, Seung-min decides to bust out his ultimate move. His secret weapon is his singing voice. Next thing you know, they're in a karaoke room. Seung-min grabs the mic and starts singing a ballad directly to Arim. While he's busy performing, Jijan and Arim are just sitting there, silently and awkwardly close to each other. But then, disaster strikes. Seung-min's voice cracks and he starts coughing uncontrollably. He totally choked. He sputters that something went down the wrong pipe and rushes out to get some water. And just like that, Jijan and Arim are left completely alone in the small karaoke booth. Arim pulls out her phone and types a message, even though he's right there. She thanks him for the plushie. But as he reads the message, her phone starts buzzing like crazy. She's getting a call. He looks at the screen and the caller ID just says, Dad. Instantly, all the color drains from Arim's face. Her eyes go wide with what looks like pure terror. She jerks back and stands up, completely rigid with fear. She just stares at the ringing phone. Totally panicked, Arim bolts from the room and crashes right into someone. Back in the booth, Jijan is left wondering what in the world just happened. Turns out she ran straight into a couple of sketchy-looking guys. And one of them is not happy about his spilled coffee. The bigger guy shoves her hard, yelling at her to watch where she's going. He keeps yelling at her, demanding an apology. But Arim just stares at the ground, totally terrified. Just then, Seung-min finally catches up and sees the whole thing go down. The other guy gets right in Seung-min's face, asking if Arim is his girlfriend. Seung-min nervously says they're just classmates for now. The main thug just scoffs and cruelly dumps the rest of his coffee right over Arim's head. What a jerk. And Seung-min, he can only watch in horrified shock, completely frozen on the spot. But before the thug can even celebrate, a hand shoots out. It clamps down on his wrist with an iron grip. Of course, it's our boy Jijan, and he looks absolutely furious. The thug is stunned, then enraged. He screams, demanding to know who Jijan is. He tries to fight back, but Jijan expertly sweeps his leg, throwing him completely off balance. Before the guy can recover, Jijan slams into him with a powerful shoulder check. He sends the thug flying. Seeing this, his buddy decides to jump in, throwing a wild punch. That was a big mistake. Jijan dodges easily and buries his fist deep into the guy's stomach, knocking him out cold. Ahiram is still frozen, her eyes wide with shock as coffee and makeup stream down her face. Jijan glances back at her. His expression is unreadable but incredibly intense. Without a single word, he reaches out and firmly takes her hand. He starts pulling her away, ignoring the thugs screaming at them to stop. And just like that, they run off together into the darkness, leaving all the chaos behind. Seung-min, meanwhile, is left with his mouth wide open. Hey, you're one of them, right? The thug turns to him. He's not waiting around for what's next and books it out of there. The thug screams after him, but Seung-min is already gone. With the stuffed teddy, of course. He bursts out into the pouring rain, frantically looking for someone, anyone. Then he spots them running down the stairs. He just loses it, screaming at them for being unloyal. Watching from above, Seung-min's heart just shatters. He can't deny it, they actually look good together. I mean, it was the quiet hero Jijan who actually stepped up to save Arum when things got real. Seung-min has to face the brutal truth. He's just a coward who ran away. In her story, he's not the hero. He's just a background character, a total NPC. So he wanders the rain-soaked streets all alone, feeling completely worthless. But then, a weak voice calls out his name. He turns and finds Go Guman beaten to a bloody pulp and crying on some stairs. Guman is a total wreck, sobbing that he's not worthy of being Jijan's representative. Seungmin asks if Jinwoo's crew is responsible, and that's when Guman drops a bombshell. He confessed. He promised them he'd get Jijan to fight in their underground pit fights. Guman bows his head in shame, admitting he only folded because he was terrified. Seeing this, a tear rolls down Seungmin's cheek. He thinks, "You're just like me." He helps the battered Guman up, who asks a heartbreaking question. What are two losers like them supposed to do now? He says sadly, if Jijan thinks we're his friends, he'll help us. Meanwhile, Jijan and Arum are walking through the rainy city, just the two of them. They share this silent, intense look, and you can see them both blushing even in the rain. Jijan lets go of her hand, but they keep walking side by side. Then Arum pops open an umbrella, holding it over both of them. Classic K-drama moment right here. But across the street, who should spot them? It's Yena and her friend Yuri. Yena tries to play it cool, saying she saw nothing, but her face tells a totally different story. Her eyes are practically burning with jealousy as she watches them walk away under that one umbrella. Suddenly, Arum's phone buzzes, and she looks down, surprised by the notification. A little later, they arrive right in front of her apartment building. She quickly types a message on her phone to show him, "This is my place." She offers him the umbrella, says a quick goodbye, and then runs inside. Jijan is left standing alone in the rain, now holding her umbrella. He watches her go for a second before turning to head out himself. But he stops when he feels a tap on his shoulder. He turns around, and it's Arum again. She holds up her phone with one last message. "Thank you so much for today." She gives him this incredibly sweet smile, and Jijan is just totally stunned for a second. Up on her balcony, Arum watches Jijan standing in the courtyard below, but her quiet moment gets ruined when a shadowy figure appears next to her and lights a smoke. This guy looks seriously scruffy and mean, taking a long drag from his cigarette. He glances over and mutters something about it being a load of nonsense, totally killing the mood. The next day at school, Seungmin is putting on a huge show, pretending to beat up Guman on the rooftop. And Guman is playing his part perfectly, crying that he's worthless and doesn't deserve to be Jijan's friend. Seungmin then yells over to Jijan, asking if he should keep hitting their useless representative. He asks when the match is. Guman tearfully replies, "Saturday night, 9 p.m. The gymnasiums." Seungmin asks what happens if he doesn't show up. Guman immediately starts wailing that they'll kill him. The two glance over to see if Jijan took the bait. Maybe not. They turn the waterworks up a notch. Without a single word, Jijan walks into the dark stairwell and disappears, leaving them hanging. Seungmin and Guman are just stunned. Will he actually show? Guman can't shake how cold Jijan looked. The second Jijan is gone, the act drops. Seungmin chews Guman out for his bad acting, but Guman is convinced they're doomed. And just like that, Saturday night arrives, casting a dark shadow over the school. Inside the gym, the underground fight club is popping off. You can hear the brutal sound of punches echoing everywhere. A massive crowd of students is roaring, fists in the air, absolutely thirsty for some action. Guman and Seungmin are on the sidelines, totally blown away. Guman says, "Is this even a school? It's a straight-up fighting ring." As the fight rages, all they can do is stare at the entrance and wonder, is Jijan actually going to show up? The underground fight club is absolutely electric. Everyone's losing their minds. Two students are just wailing on each other, trading heavy blows. And boom, a brutal shot connects right on the jaw. The crowd smells blood in the water. They're screaming for the finish. He sees the opening and just unloads a flurry of body blows. But hold on, someone is watching this whole thing on a security camera. In a dark room, a mysterious man sips his soda. He thinks these kids are all riled up. He smirks, already knowing who's gonna win. He's just waiting for the main event. He's wondering if the new transfer student Jijan is actually gonna show. He thought Jijan was just some quiet little puppy, but it turns out he's a fighter. From the teacher's office, he's debating his bet. Lee Taesung or Jijan. He's curious about the new kid, sure, but his money is on Taesung. He calls Taesung a total hound dog, and you can see why this guy's an absolute unit. Just then, the phone on his desk starts ringing. He picks up. The voice on the other end says there's a student who refuses to talk. He knows exactly who it is. A wicked smile spreads across his face. He tells them to send him in. He hangs up and peeks through the blinds. Uh-oh, low battery warning. He sees Jijan walking across the courtyard. He's gotta admit, the kid has courage. Jijan just keeps walking, his face cold and determined. Mr. Kim just chuckles. The courage to be a sacrificial pawn. Back at the fight, the first match is over. Mincheol takes the win. It's almost time for the main event. But where is Jijan? Jinwoo's goons grab Guman and Seungmin, demanding answers. They tell them if Jijan doesn't show, they're next in the ring with Taesung. And right on cue, the gym doors swing open with a loud creak. The entire crowd goes silent, turning to stare in shock. There he is, Jijan. He actually came. Guman and Seungmin are practically crying with relief and joy. They rush over, throwing their arms around him, totally overjoyed. But their celebration is cut short by a voice from behind them. It's Kim Jinwoo, and he's been waiting. Jinwoo starts taunting him immediately. Only 10% of the crowd bet on him to win. Then he leans in close and whispers a little secret. He bet on Jijan. He says in his eyes, Jijan looks like a hungry cub ready to hunt. He challenges Jijan to show everyone what he's made of. Jijan just stares back, cold as ice. And the main event begins. Jijan and Lee Taesung face off in the center of the court. Taesung sizes up the new kid, looking cocky as ever. Jijan, on the other hand, is a total stone wall. His expression is unreadable. Taesung just scoffs and takes off his headphones. He tosses them to a lackey and tells him to play the music. The lackey plugs them into an amp and cranks the volume way up. As the music blasts, Taesung rips off his hoodie. "Let's have some fun," he declares. Jijan's expression barely changes, but a shadow crosses his face. The two fighters square up, ready to throw down. Taesung immediately lunges forward with a flurry of punches, but Jijan dodges them all. Jijan fires back with a clean shot right to Taesung's face. They exchange a rapid series of blows. Neither one is backing down an inch. Taesung throws a kick, but Jijan counters with another perfect punch. And Taesung realizes it instantly, just from these first few hits. This new kid is on a completely different level than anyone he's ever faced. Gritting his teeth, Taesung admits this doesn't feel good at all. He's stunned as Jijan finds an opening the second his guard drops. Jijan unleashes a brutal combo. Body blows and a kick straight to the gut. Taesung grunts in pain as another fist slams into his face. On the sidelines, his friends are going nuts. They're screaming for him to get him. Taesung can't believe it. Jijan's expression hasn't changed one bit. Is he just a punching bag? Watching the monitor, Mr. Kim leaps to his feet. He's screaming for Taesung to get it together. The crowd is furious. They've got money on this fight, and they want Taesung to fight back. Someone yells to crank the music, and the lackey cranks the amp even higher. The crowd starts a thunderous chant for Lee Taesung. The music swells, and a girl's clear voice sings out the lyrics. Jijan hears it. His eyes widen just a little. He knows this song. Taesung sees the opening and lands a couple of solid hits. In the crowd, someone asks what song is playing. His friend says it's from a group called Anicap. The name sounds familiar, and it hits Jijan like a truck. His mind flashes to an image of a pretty blonde girl telling him the name of her new girl group. It's called Alicon. The pretty girl winks. If Alicon makes it big, you're gonna become the boyfriend of a super famous pop star, Jijan. So, what do you think about Alicon? She asks. If she signs the contract, it will guarantee her debut, but she's totally second-guessing herself. Can she really do it? Right on cue, some of Jijan's biker friends roll up, telling him it's time to go. Without even a word, Jijan just gets up, looking like he's about to ditch her. But then he tells her that whatever she decides is the right answer for him. A total Chad move. And just like that, her face completely lights up with relief. She jumps up and throws her arms around him in a massive hug, thanking him over and over. She tells him he's the one she can always count on, that he's her safe place. But that sweet memory gets shattered by a fist smashing right into his face. He's snapped back to the present. Boomin and Sungmin are freaking out. What is wrong with their boy right now? His opponent, Lee Taesung, just smirks. He thinks he was way too cautious with this nobody. The crowd is chanting Taesung's name while loud music blasts from a speaker, and the beatdown is brutal. His friends can only watch in horror as Jijan gets absolutely dominated. They're convinced it's the music. It has to be messing with his concentration. They scream at some random student to turn it down, but the dude just tells them to get lost. The other students just laugh it off, saying Jijan is just weak. So Guman takes matters into his own hands. He snatches the speaker and makes a run for it. He hits the switch, and just like that, the gym goes completely silent. But the silence triggers another memory. This one is much darker. A girl is crying in front of Bong San Entertainment. It's her again, Shin Mirai, and she's telling him they need to stop seeing each other. Her expression turns ice cold. She says she is tired of him and walks away. Men in suits hold him back as he screams her name, begging her to wait. Back in the present, Taesung's punch lands square on his face. Taesung is positive he's landed a clean, decisive hit. The blow lands hard, right in Jijan's gut. But wait, something is different. A strange energy starts glowing around Jijan. His eyes are shining with a menacing light. The image of Shin Mirai walking away flashes in his mind, and he drops to one knee. Taesung sees his chance. He leaps in for the finishing blow, screaming that it's over. Jijan's friends scream in terror. This could be the end of the fight. But Jijan sees it coming. At the very last second, he dodges with an insane backward bend. He uses the momentum, plants a hand, and flips right back to his feet. His face is pure fury. Before Taesung can even react, Jijan unloads a crushing blow that sends him flying. He follows up with a brutal hammer fist, smashing Taesung face first into the floor. Taesung is down. The entire crowd is just stunned into total silence. Taesung tries to get up, cursing under his breath, but Jijan is already on top of him. He smashes him with a vicious kick, leaving Taesung spitting blood on the floor. Taesung looks up, and Jijan looks like an absolute monster. None of this makes any sense to him. Meanwhile, Kim Jin-woo watches from the sidelines with a twisted grin. It's over, he says. Guman and Sungmin go absolutely wild. They cannot believe Lee Taesung actually lost. Dazed and confused, Taesung cannot process it. He was so sure he had this in the bag. But Jijan isn't finished. He lands another vicious kick right to Taesung's ribs. He is completely lost in a blind rage. Taesung is terrified, begging him to stop. But Jijan is not listening. He just starts stomping on the defenseless Taesung over and over again. The crowd is horrified. Someone screams that he is going to kill him. Jijan's eyes are completely white now, burning with an unholy light as he keeps going. His friends can only watch, frozen in fear. Even Jinwoo's lackeys are getting nervous. They're worried this psycho is about to cause a huge incident. But Jinwoo just grins. That one is a catch. He'll be a hit, he declares. You can see the dollar signs in his eyes as he plans the next big match. Finally, Gumain and Seungmin rush in to hold him back, screaming at him to stop. They yell that he has already won. Panting heavily, the white glow in Jijan's eyes finally begins to fade. He is coming back to his senses. Back in his office, the mysterious organizer slams his fist on the desk in pure rage. Jijan, he screams. He cannot believe it. He shouts that the one-off fighter actually beat Taesung. But his anger quickly turns to calculation. He adjusts his glasses. Profit is all that matters. A new, sinister idea starts to form. He thinks to himself that maybe, just maybe, Jijan could be on his side. A wicked grin spreads across his face. He has got a plan. He is going to train Jijan to be his loyal attack dog. And back in the ring, Jijan is still panting, the adrenaline from his berserker rage finally wearing off. The fight is over, and Jinwoo's goon is left face down in a puddle of his own failure. Jinwoo can't help but smirk at Jijan's brutal victory. He knew this kid was the real deal. He gets real close, flashing a seriously creepy grin. He wants to see that crazed look again in the next match. Jinwoo offers the prize money, but Jijan isn't interested. He just turns his back and walks off, ignoring the roaring crowd. Seeing their savior leave, Guman and Seungmin immediately give chase. They catch up and offer to treat him to a meal. After all, he totally saved their necks back there, but Jijan just grabs his hand away. The two are completely frozen. Later that night, we find Jijan wandering the city streets completely alone. He suddenly stops in his tracks. Music from a massive screen overhead has caught his attention. It's the K-pop group Alicon, and for some reason, seeing them gives him a strange sense of familiarity. He just stands there, lost in thought as the music plays on. On the screen, a reporter is interviewing one of the members, Shin Mirai. She's humbly thanking the fans for all their support, even making a little heart gesture. And get this, Guman and Seungmin have been tailing him this whole time. They're wondering what his deal is with Alicon. They put two and two together. Do you think it was Alicon's song that made Jijan weird earlier? Seungmin asks. Maybe he's an anti-fan, but Guman totally shuts that down. Alicon has no haters. They're way too pretty. Seungmin calls him out for being a lackin', like, stans of the group. Guman can't even deny it, admitting Shin Mirai is awesome. Seungmin just rolls. You're a simp. I knew it. But it's a trap. Guman flips the question, and Seungmin excitedly admits he's a fan too. I like the youngest, Ryan, he yells. Meanwhile, Jijan has already moved on. He's now heading toward a deserted beach at night. His two stalker friends are totally baffled. Why would he go to the beach? Is he that stressed out? And bro literally brought a school chair with him? He just sits there staring out at the dark ocean. The duo debates their next move. Seungmin jokes that Jijan is probably regretting hanging out with them. But Guman is serious. He insists they should go talk to him because that's what friends do. Seungmin looks torn. He knows just the person who could help, but the idea alone makes him sweat. Meanwhile, Arum is fast asleep when a sudden buzz from her phone wakes her up. She checks the notification. It's an invitation to the beach, right in front of the lighthouse. Throwing on a hoodie, she quietly slips out of her room. On her way out, she finds her dad passed out drunk at the kitchen table. He suddenly jolts awake and starts screaming at her. What? You want to die? Terrifying Arum. He mutters a few more things before passing out again. Shaken, Arum makes a run for it. Back at the beach, Guman asks who Seungmin texted. He nervously admits it was a girl named Arum. Guman's mind is blown. He can't believe Seungmin is actually texting a girl. But Seungmin has to explain the whole complicated situation. Arum doesn't actually know it's him. He reveals the phone he's using is the one Arum gave to Jijan, hoping to get his number. But Seungmin found it first, and has been catfishing her this whole time, pretending to be Jijan. He confesses he knows it's wrong and he has to give it back. He just could not bring himself to do it. Guman asks the obvious question, does he like Arum? Seungmin sadly admits he used to, but now he knows his place. Guman smacks some sense into him. Then give the phone back already, man. Stop messing around. But as they get closer, Jijan turns around. Seungmin freezes in his tracks, absolutely terrified. He shakily holds out the phone. Jijan just stares at him with that intense gaze. Suddenly, Seungmin drops to his knees and slams his head to the ground. He screams out an apology for pretending to be him. He tearfully confesses to sending the last text, begging Jijan not to reject Arum because they look good together. Jijan says nothing, but then the phone in his hand lights up with a brand new message. It's from Arum. She says she's almost there. Jijan's eyes go wide with pure shock. He looks up just in time to see Arum herself running towards them, completely out of breath. Watching from a distance, Guman is impressed. Seungmin cannot believe she actually came. With tears in his eyes, Seungmin gives his blessing. He just wants Jijan to take care of her. The two bros decide to give them some privacy. Do you want to sleep over at my house? I have a gaming console, Guman asks. Rum takes a seat next to the silent Jijan on the bench. She starts typing a message, admitting she was surprised he texted her. Jijan looks down, looking tired and sad. She types again, asking him what's wrong. Rum waits, a little confused. Finally, Jijan starts to type his reply. His reply is simple. Thought of you. And just like that, Rum starts blushing like crazy. They sit in comfortable silence for a moment. Rum breaks the ice, texting that the waves sound nice. Jijan agrees. She asks if he comes here often, but he admits it's his first time. She keeps the chat going, admitting his text was actually what woke her up. Hearing that, Jijan's eyes widen. He seems genuinely surprised. He abruptly stands up, saying he'll see her home, but Arum grabs his arm. "No," she types. "I don't want to go home." Jijan just stares at her in surprise. A few minutes later, Jijan gets her a drink from a nearby vending machine. She thanks him, and they fall into a comfortable silence, just watching the waves. Arum asks why he doesn't want to go home, admitting that her own house feels like a prison. Then she brings up that text he sent her, saying she was really surprised by it. She even mentions the surprise goodnights text he supposedly sent the other day. Jijan looks completely baffled. He has zero idea what she is talking about. He pulls out his phone and sees the messages for himself, messages he never even sent. And in a flash of rage, he knows exactly who has been messing with his phone. Sungmin. Arum, completely unaware, says his text was like a small cheer telling her to stay strong. Blushing, she thanks him again, leaving Jijan totally speechless. Finally, she works up the courage to ask the question on her mind, why doesn't he speak? That one question triggers a painful memory, sending him spiraling. He remembers desperately screaming a single name into the air. Mirai. In the memory, a blonde girl named Mirai walks away before coming to a sudden stop. He's being restrained by security, who are accusing him of being a stalker. But Mirai suddenly runs back, pushing past the guards to embrace him. Through tears, she confesses that she tried to be cold, but she just can't do it. She cries that she can't let him go, not even if she dies. He holds her close, promising he will always be there for her. And watching this entire scene play out from above are two men in suits. Back in the present, Jijan just replies that some words can seep into your soul and freeze you. She guesses his reason for being quiet is much more complicated than hers. He asks her what her reason is. She types back, "It's simple." She explains that her words are dirty, just like her dad's, and she has that same darkness inside her. Instead of prying, Jijan just suggests they take a walk, and she agrees. They wander together through the bustling city streets on a Saturday night. Suddenly, shouting erupts from a nearby outdoor restaurant. And who is right in the middle of it? None other than Kang Doyle, who just smirks. The thugs immediately recognize him as one of the Dazen Industrial High guys. Doyle, looking totally bored, just wants to drink in peace after getting out of some trouble. The thugs are happy he's alone, but Doyle says he likes it that way. One thug threatens him, but Doyle just mocks them for getting wrecked by his upperclassmen before. That is the last straw. The thug flips the entire table, absolutely furious. With a dead-eyed stare, Doyle says he has nothing to lose and kicks the guy square in the jaw. Jijan and Arum watch as a massive brawl explodes with the other thugs rushing Doyle. But Doyle is an absolute beast, easily dodging and landing a solid counterpunch. Doyle is being chased by the thugs until he suddenly freezes mid-stride. What stopped him cold? He spotted Jijan and Arum watching from the street. A slow, sinister smile spreads across Doyle's face as he gives a friendly little wave. He calls out, "It's nice to see you, my friend." Just as the dust settles, a voice cuts through the night shouting Jijan's name. Oh no, it's Kang Doyle, and he's sprinting towards them with a seriously creepy grin. He throws an arm around Jijan in a bizarre hug, catching him totally off guard. And right on cue, a whole crew of thugs swarms out from a nearby alley. Doyle just smirks, telling the thugs that he and Jijan are obviously best friends. Yeah, they are not buying it. But what the heck, they decide to just beat everyone up. Hiram is totally freaking out. Jijan moves forward to protect her. One of the goons lunges straight for Doyle, screaming that he's a dead man. But Doyle counters with a brutal elbow strike right to the dude's face. Another thug rushes in from the side, aiming for Jijan. Jijan intercepts with a lightning-fast hook, absolutely rocking the guy's jaw. Doyle glances back, surprised by the assist as another attacker closes in. He spins and decks the guy with a vicious right hand, shouting a warning to Jijan. Meanwhile, Jijan is already handling his own opponent with ease. He unleashes a massive punch, sending purple energy exploding from the impact. In a blur of motion, they demolish the entire group in perfect unplanned sync. Watching this, Arum realizes she's had Jijan all wrong. She thought he was distant, but now she sees the truth. He's the type who breaks down walls to connect. He might seem cold on the outside, but his heart is anything but. She watches Doyle, thinking about how most people fight for selfish reasons. But Jijan is different. He's fighting for something much more. Something desperate, something bigger than just himself.
You can feel the weight of it.
Her train of thought is shattered by a movement. It's one of the thugs they took down, and he's holding a knife. He raises the blade high and charges towards Jijan. Arum lets out a blood-curdling scream of pure terror. Doyle spots the danger instantly, screaming at Jijan to duck. Jijan hits the deck just as the thug slashes. Doyle is a whirlwind of motion, launching a devastating flying kick. His foot connects perfectly, sending the knife-wielding coward flying backwards. Doyle is absolutely furious, screaming about them being cowards for using a knife. He stomps down hard on the thug's face, calling them skillless losers. With the threat completely neutralized, the last of the thugs are left groaning on the pavement. And our boys stand back to back amidst the carnage, an absolute power duo. Doyle turns to Jijan with a smirk, saying they make a pretty good team. Jijan doesn't say a word. He just turns and walks straight to a shaken Arum. Doyle just laughs it off, acting like the whole thing was no big deal. But then, out of nowhere, Jijan spins and cracks Doyle with a massive punch. Doyle stumbles back, totally shocked. What was that for? Jijan doesn't stop, following up with a hard punch right to Doyle's gut. Doyle completely collapses, totally winded and confused about what's happening. Looking up, Doyle actually apologizes. He says he was just excited to finally meet him. Before Jijan can even react, Doyle drops to the ground and puts his hands up. He shouts that he surrenders, reminding Jijan they were just fighting on the same side. Doyle quickly tries to explain himself, saying his past actions were all just a test. A slow grin spreads across his face. And you passed, so I want to be your friend. He gets up and invites Jijan to join his families, whatever that means. Jijan just shoves his hands away, turns his back, and walks over to Ariam. But Doyle is completely unfazed by the rejection and starts following them. He strolls behind them, commenting on how close they seem to be. He's even weirdly proud, like he played some part in bringing them together. He offers to pay them back, telling them to follow him if they're lost. He smirks, saying he knows a good place where they can crash for a while. He ends up leading them to a building with a sign for romance comics. This is the place, he says, leading them inside with a big grin. Turns out it's a cozy comic book cafe, packed with manga and comfy chairs. And at the front counter, a guy is totally passed out. Doyle wakes him up, announcing that he's brought some new customers. Byung-gu groggily wakes up, surprised to see Doyle standing there. He then notices Jijan and Ariam. Doyle proudly introduces them as his new friends. Byung-gu sizes them up, noting that they look much nicer than Doyle's usual crowd. Jijan and Arum just stand there silently, still processing this entire bizarre night. Byung-gu tells them to make themselves at home, saying their time is on the house. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to a dark, rundown apartment building. Inside, a man is completely passed out at a table, surrounded by empty bottles. He slowly starts to wake up, groaning from his massive hangover. He stumbles to his feet, looking around the dark and messy apartment. His eyes land on a bedroom door that's been left slightly ajar. He peeks inside, a look of confusion on his face. The room is completely empty. The bed is made, but nobody is there. Suddenly, the man bursts out of the room, his face a mask of panic as he screams a name. He frantically scans the apartment, his voice getting more and more desperate. He runs to her empty room, the awful realization hitting him. She's gone. Doyle leads Jijan and Ariam into another room. He calls it his secret spot. He gives them a free pass to hang out anytime. He says it's his way of repaying a favor. He tells them to kick back and read some comics while he catches some Z's. What a guy. The mood gets a little awkward, so they whip out their phones and start texting each other. Classic. Jijan texts her, asking if she was scared earlier. She plays it cool, saying she's fine now. She asks if he wants to read a manhwa, and he gives the most Jijan reply ever. Yeah. And just like that, they're sitting side by side, quietly reading together. Suddenly, Ariam starts giggling at her comic. Jijan glances over, totally caught off guard by her cute side. The moment passes, and they settle back into a comfortable silence, lost in their stories. A little later, the cafe owner rocks up with an apron and some free drinks. This dude is the GOAT. He mentions he's surprised a guy like Doyle even has friends like them. Actually, he corrects himself. Doyle doesn't have friends, just a bunch of thugs he gets into fights with. Then, out of nowhere, he holds up his hand. 2 fingers are missing. Jijan and Ariam are completely shocked. He admits it was brutal, and says Doyle still hasn't moved on from what happened. That was the moment an ordinary kid started walking down a much darker path. He apologizes for the heavy topic, but asks them to look out for Doyle. He calls him a good kid. Time flies by. Jijan looks over and, oh, Ariam has fallen asleep, right on his shoulder. Jijan just stares down at her. His expression is totally unreadable but super intense. Suddenly, Ariam jerks away. She's instantly flustered and blushing when she realizes the situation. Her phone buzzes. 3 missed calls from her dad. She panics and says she has to go home now. Without saying a word, Jijan just types a simple message. I'll drop you off. He walks her through the quiet night streets all the way to her apartment building. They ride the elevator up in silence. Harem turns and waves goodbye from down the hall. From her balcony, she sends him a text. It was some hours of freedom. Thank you, Jijan. But as she goes to unlock her door, it swings open. It's her furious, disheveled father. He immediately starts screaming at her. What time is it? How many times did I call? When she doesn't answer, he gets even more enraged and violently slaps her to the floor. Down the hall, Jijan sees everything. His face turns to a mask of pure ice-cold fury. The father isn't done yet. He grabs Arum by her hoodie, dragging her and demanding answers. Then he spots Jijan. All that rage immediately turns on him, accusing him of corrupting his daughter. Hiram grabs her dad's shirt, trying to stop him. Are you siding with him? He roars. Tears are streaming down her face, but she grits her teeth and screams, Go back, Jijan. Her father shoves her away again, snarling, I'm gonna kill that bastard. Hiram is on the floor, desperately begging Jijan to run. He lunges forward, but a terrified Ariam clings to his leg, screaming for Jijan to just get away. Jijan just stands there watching. His face is a shadowed mask of conflict and rage, and then he does the unthinkable. He turns around and runs away. His mind is racing. This is what he always does. He runs from the past, from things he can't handle. Just like that time before, he wasn't strong enough to face it. As Jijan runs away, Arum is getting beaten up. And what did he do? He ran. This is his curse. He's the guy who bolts from any fight he knows he can't win. So he just closes his eyes, trying to hide in the dark and pretend it never happened. Completely exhausted, he drags himself through the woods under the dead of night. Finally, a safe haven appears at the edge of the forest. A temple. Inside, an old monk kneels in prayer before a huge golden Buddha statue. Jijan appears in the doorway and the monk greets him without missing a beat. "You've come home late." The monk smiles gently, clearly sensing the kid's inner turmoil. "You must have a lot on your mind." Jijan admits to himself this was another escape, a quiet place to hide from his problems. But even in a place like this, he couldn't avoid making new connections. And now he faces a choice: accept this new life or run away all over again. A few days later, we're back in the school's underground fight club, and a match is already going down. One dude is absolutely pummeling his opponent, who can only beg him to stop. "I give up. I surrender." The beaten student cries out, ending the fight in a heartbeat. But the crowd is not happy. They start groaning. "What? Already? That's so boring." But just then, the whole room goes dead silent. Kim Jinwoo and his crew have arrived. Jinwoo immediately grabs the loser by his hair. "Did you just say you'll surrender?" He sneers, completely unimpressed. "I don't think he hit you hard enough for you to just call it quits." The poor kid tries to explain himself. "There was no chance. I knew how it would end." Wrong answer. Jinwoo absolutely loses it and stomps on the kid's head. With that kind of mindset, someone like you doesn't deserve to be a fighter. He roars, launching a brutal kick. Everyone just watches in shocked silence. Jinwoo tells the kid to never show his face here again. Right then, No Jaemin whispers in his ear, "Mr. Kim is asking for you," in the storage room. In a storage shed, a man in a suit is laying into Jinwoo. "We need verified fighters, not these pests." Mr. Kim reminds him of the bottom line. "Everyone's looking forward to Jijan's next fight, you know." Jinwoo tries to argue that finding good opponents is tough. They're either weak or scared. "Are you saying you can't find someone?" Mr. Kim's tone turns ice cold. Jinwoo immediately starts backpedaling, saying it'll just take a little more time. "How long?" Mr. Kim presses him. Jinwoo nervously throws out a month. Mr. Kim places a hand on his shoulder, his voice dripping with menace. "It seems you've gotten a bit full of yourself." "A month? Customers don't wait." His eyes narrow. There are plenty of other places for them to go. Then comes the real threat. He could take away Jinwoo's position just like that. That does it. Terrified, Jinwoo drops to his knees and begs, "No, please, anything but that. I'm sorry." And Mr. Kim grinds his shoe right onto Jinwoo's head. "I'll give you 1 week. If you can't find an opponent," he says with a twisted smile, "you will be the one fighting." He even suggests Jinwoo can show off his old bully moves. The customers will love it, right? Mr. Kim walks away, leaving Jinwoo on the floor. The threat hangs in the air. 1 week. Jinwoo is furious. If he can't find an opponent for Jijan, he has to fight. He's totally screwed. Meanwhile, Guman brought Jijan a donkatsu bento. "It's bad for you to eat bread every day." Sungmin cheers him on as Guman even offers to buy coffee for dessert. The two friends talk about how eating lunch has actually become a comfortable routine. Suddenly, Sungmin notices a phone vibrating in Jijan's pocket. He freezes. Could that be a text from Iriam? He gets all awkward and leans in close to Jijan, whispering, "Jijan, check your phone." But Jijan just walks away. Guman playfully smacks Sungmin, telling him to mind his own business. Jijan finally checks the message from Aram. "Do you want to meet at the comic store later?" Later that day, Jijan makes his way through the streets to the romance manhwa cafe. And there she is, waiting for him. Inside, the air between them is super thick with awkward silence. Aram finally breaks the silence, admitting it would be way weirder not to talk now. Then she drops a personal confession, looking down as she says it. "You know, I hate my own voice." She explains it's because of her harsh way of speaking, a habit she got from her dad. Because of it, she always just wanted to hide her voice and stay quiet. But then, her whole expression changes. "But I don't regret it," she says with total conviction. "Because I don't like you getting hurt." And those words hit Jijan like a truck. As Jijan is still processing her words, Arum continues her story. She explains how her mom finally had enough and left her dad. After that, it was just her. The words slowly faded until one day she just stopped talking altogether. And with her silence, the few friends she had, they all just faded away too. Meanwhile, Doyle strolls into the cafe and greets his friend. Byung-gu, the dude working the counter, tells him his friends are already here. Back in the library, Arum says she was always alone. But then she started hearing whispers about Jijan. She heard he was a transfer student who never spoke a word, and that got her thinking. She wondered, could his story be anything like hers? And that's when Doyle bursts in, his mind completely blown. "Wait a minute, you can talk?" he yells. Arum just stares back, totally bewildered by his massive overreaction. Doyle is absolutely hyped. He congratulates her like she just won the lottery, saying he's so glad they can finally talk. And just like that, Arum clams up again. "She's not talking to you, buddy." He slings an arm around Jijan, all smiles. "All right, since we're all here, dinner's on me. Let's go." He tries to get Byung-gu to come, but he's stuck watching the store. Doyle just waves it off, telling him to close up since the place is empty anyway. Elsewhere, in some disgusting back alley, Jinwoo is having a full-blown meltdown. He kicks a trash can, screaming that he'll have to fight Jijan himself. His lackeys complain that 1 week is too short. Jinwoo spins on them, demanding if they found anyone else they can recruit. One of them mutters how embarrassing it would be to lose. That sets Jinwoo off again. But then, one of his guys speaks up. He says he might just know somebody. Jinwoo's head snaps over, suddenly interested. Who is it? The guy says there's this psycho senior who dropped out of their rival school to become a legit gangster. If he gets his hands on you, it's over. Another lackey is horrified. He argues that bringing in a real gangster is crossing a serious line. Jinwoo doesn't care. His eyes are burning with intensity as he demands a name. The scene cuts to a sketchy loan shark's office. A desperate man named Mr. Choi is on his knees begging for his life. The boss just stares him down, coldly reminding him he's 2 months behind on his payments. Mr. Choi is sweating bullets, stammering that he's doing everything he can. That's when a terrifying blonde dude with neck tats holds up a massive pair of shears. "You were at a casino, weren't you?" Mr. Choi swears he was just trying to win the money to pay them back. He's rambling about his ancestors talking to him in his dreams, saying a big win is coming. He begs them not to cut off his finger, promising he'll pay them back if they just give him a little more time. The boss is not having it. Working hard to pay us back is one thing, but you're trying to do it by gambling? His face gets dark. "Do we really look like a joke to you?" The tattooed guy just grins. "Don't worry, Mr. Choi, this will only sting for a second. I'm a pro. I'll make it clean." Mr. Choi starts screaming for them to stop, but it's useless. With a twisted smile, the man brings the shears down. A horrible scream echoes out into the night. Mr. Choi hits the floor, clutching his hand in agony. The tattooed man stands over him, saying the next part is very important. "You have 1 hour to bring me the money," he says. "I'll even give you the finger back so you can reattach it. Now hurry up." As Mr. Choi scrambles out of the office, crying in pain, the man just watches him go without a care in the world. The boss asks if he's happy to get another finger for his collection. The guy just wipes his hand, saying a finger like that is low quality. But then a sick grin spreads across his face. "Man, it's been a while since I've felt this rush. This psycho is Jeong Ji-tae, a 19-year-old dropout." Back in the alley, Jinwoo's goon confirms it. This is the guy who actually cut off a classmate's finger at school. And get this. The kid he did it to was in the school band. He was a guitar player. Even these bullies are disgusted by how messed up that is. After getting out of juvie, he went pro and became a full-time gangster. Just thinking about him gives them chills. But Jinwoo? He's just smiling. So is there a way to meet this guy? His crew can't believe he's actually going through with this. Jinwoo is buzzing with excitement. Just imagine it. The unbeatable transfer student going up against a real gangster. He tells them they can't afford to be picky now. Gangster or murderer, it doesn't matter. Let's go find him. Later that night, the whole crew is walking down the street. Byung-gu is already complaining about being outside. Doyle tells him to get some fresh air for once, but Byung-gu just mutters that he hates people staring at him. Doyle brings up how Byung used to perform on stage. Byung-gu just looks away. That was a long time ago. Ah-room overhears this, and her eyes light up. Wait, on stage? Was Byung-gu in a band or something? Doyle confirms it, saying he was a killer guitar player. At the mention of it, Byung-gu's whole expression just sinks. Sensing the awkward mood, Doyle quickly changes the subject, asking what everyone wants to eat. Suddenly, a car screeches to a halt just down the road. Inside, Jeong Ji-tae spots the group crossing the street. His eyes narrow. He recognizes someone. He's staring straight at Byung-gu and Doyle. Ji-tae turns to his boss. "Hey, can we stop for a second? I see some old friends. I just want to say hi." He steps out of the car and walks towards them, calling out a single name. "Byung-gu?" Byung-gu turns around, confused, and then his face goes pale when he sees who it is. The gangster Jeong Ji-tae points right at him with a huge, terrifying grin. "I wasn't sure it was you, Byung-gu." Ji-tae acts casual, but Byung-gu is literally shaking, breaking out in a cold sweat and unable to speak. He backs up and bumps into Doyle, and his own face hardens into a protective glare. Ji-tae lets out a chilling laugh. "What's with the long face? You look like you've seen a ghost." He's got Doyle and Byung totally cornered on the street at night. He acts all friendly, saying it's nice to see them together, but he knows exactly why they're frozen stiff with fear. The psychological games have already begun. He zeroes in on Doyle, noting he's gotten bigger. Ji-tae taunts him. "It's been a while since you've seen your senior. Aren't you gonna say hello?" Doyle has to keep his cool in front of his friends. He forces out a greeting and tries to leave, saying they were just getting food. He tells Ji-tae that just looking at him is enough to ruin their appetites. A bold move. He politely tells the psycho to get lost, but Ji-tae just chuckles, his eyes turning cold. "Oh really?" he says, reaching for his wallet. He flashes a huge wad of cash. "It's been a while. Let your senior treat you." Then, in a massive power move, he shoves the money right into Doyle's shirt collar. Doyle can't do anything but stand there completely humiliated and shaking with rage. Ji-tae then turns his creepy smile to Byung-gu. "You and I just seem destined to meet, huh?" He reaches into his own pocket, saying it's a huge coincidence. He has a little something for him, too. And he pulls out a bloody severed finger. "I saw you and ran all the way here to give you this." "I just got this today," Ji-tae says, holding out the gruesome gift. "I think you really need this." Doyle's blood runs cold. The horrifying realization of what he's looking at finally sinks in. Byung-gu is completely paralyzed by terror. He can't believe what he's seeing. Even from a distance, Jijeon and Aram are stunned into silence. Without warning, Ji-tae grabs Byung-gu by the hair and slams him to his knees. He forces Byung-gu's hand open, holding it palm up on the cold pavement. "Take it," Ji-tae commands, dropping the finger into his hand. "It's a gift. Go take it to a hospital." Byung-gu is so scared that he's wet himself. Ji-tae's sick rant isn't over. He tells him to get it reattached so he can play guitar again. and say that it's your dream, he screams, laughing like a complete maniac as Doyle watches, helpless. Doyle is trembling, completely frozen by fear and rage. He can't move a muscle. Beside him, Jijan and Aram are absolutely speechless. Jijan tells himself to just look away, to pretend this isn't happening. He thinks to himself that this is their problem. It has nothing to do with him. But his mind flashes back to another night, to a quiet conversation. The temple monk calls him. He asks if he's made any friends since moving here. The man sighs, already knowing the answer. You don't talk much. It won't be easy for you. Then he gives him some life-changing advice. Even if you can't approach others, be grateful to those who approach you. He tells Jijan that those people have crossed the great wall of his silence to reach him. They will become precious people in your life. That memory hangs in his mind. He thinks about Doyle, about Arum. Back in the present, Jijan remembers his vow. That night, I made a choice. His hand clenches. He can't just stand by and do nothing. Not anymore. He steps forward, reaching for the monster. Gite turns, annoyed. What the? Jijan's look is ice cold. He's not going to run away and hide like a coward anymore. As Jijan grabs his wrist, Gite snaps. Who is this punk that can't read the room? Gite yanks his hand away and grabs Jijan. Do you have any idea who I am? Gite roars. How dare you get so cocky? He grabs Jijan's hand, sneering. Well, at least your fingers are pretty. If you don't let me go, he threatens, you might lose those pretty fingers too. But suddenly, Gite's smug expression vanishes as Jijan whips his hand away. The sudden move catches the bigger man completely by surprise. You want to start something? Gite growls. You cocky little punk, he mutters as they finally square up for a real fight. Just then, a car honks in the distance. It's his boss. He clicks his tongue in annoyance. He turns to Bayangu. With a cruel grin, he asks, how's life with no more dreams? With one final crazed laugh, he wishes them a nice meal and just walks away. He leaves them shattered in the middle of the street, having gotten his sick thrill for the night. The second he's gone, Doyle's strength gives out and he collapses to his knees. He can only let out a groan of pure shame and defeat. Their other friend immediately rushes over to check on Bayangu. He kneels down beside him, gently asking if he's all right. Jijan, Ariam, and Doyle can only watch the heartbreaking scene unfold. Bayangu sobs, trying to put on a brave face. I told you, it's all in the past. I'm okay now, he chokes out, though everyone knows he's completely broken inside. He stumbles away, telling them they should just eat another time. Doyle watches his friend leave, his face a storm of helplessness and pure rage. Later that night, up on a rooftop, Doyle finally lets his frustration explode. He screams, slamming his fist into the concrete ledge with all his might. He hangs his head, shamed. I couldn't do anything. I just froze up. I couldn't do a single thing. He screams into the empty night. Nothing has changed at all, he cries out. As Jijan and Ariam watch from a safe distance, Ariam is still shaken, finally asking who that psycho was. Doyle finally tells them, Jeonggi-tae, he's the one who cut off Byung-gu's finger while he was playing guitar. Just to ruin his dream, both Jijan and Ariam are absolutely horrified by the revelation. Doyle explains that Byung was just trying to stop Gitae's gang from hurting other students. We flash back to that day in a high school music room. A younger Jeonggi-tae holds a student at knife point, but a younger Byung steps in, yelling at Gitae to stop what he's doing. He grabs Gitae from behind, trying to pull him off the other kid as Gitae thrashes wildly. In a split second, Gitae swings the knife and slashes Byung-gu in the face. Gitae looks down on him with cold, dead eyes. Why did you have to butt in? Why are you so nosy? Don't act high and mighty just because you're a guitar player. Gitae sneers. But even beaten and broken, Byung glares up at his attacker. He tells Gita this room is for people with dreams, not monsters who destroy them. He spits that a selfish person like Gitae doesn't deserve to have a dream of his own. Gitae just scoffs, completely dismissing his passionate words. He's trembling with anger, but they're suddenly interrupted. A group of students are peeking in through the door. He screams at them to get lost before he carves them up too. They're terrified. Gitae storms off like a king, and the other students scatter like rats. Meanwhile, friends rush over to help the injured guitarist, Byung-gu. Back in the present, Doyle continues his story. Gitae vanished from school after that, but his voice grows dark. He says something far worse happened 2 weeks later. The memory shifts again. A younger Doyle hears a blood-curdling scream from the empty band room. He throws the door open, and what he finds is a nightmare. Gitae is holding Byung-gu down with a blade to his hand. Gitae snarls that he's going to teach him what a life without dreams feels like. And then, he slices right through Byung-gu's hand, destroying his future. Doyle can only watch, frozen in absolute terror. He can't even move. Gitae turns to him with a sickeningly casual grin. Oh hey Doyle, he says. He gets up and stretches, acting like he just finished a light workout. He warns Doyle that if he breathes a word of this, he's next. To seal the threat, he wipes his friend's blood all over Doyle's face. Doyle is left alone in the doorway, trembling as the tears finally fall. In the present, Doyle slams his fist into the rooftop ledge, cracking the concrete. He explains that Gitae went to juvenile detention and came out a full-blown gangster. Now he's a loan shark, still ruining lives for a living. He finally confesses, everything I've become, it's all because of Jeonggi-tae. He says a person who destroys someone's dream doesn't deserve to walk free. He tried to get stronger to make Gate pay, but he froze up again, just like that day. He screams in frustration, hating that he hasn't changed at all. Arun finally connects the dots. Is that why you needed Jijan? Doyle admits it. To take on a real gangster, he needed real power on his side. His one and only goal is to completely crush Jean Gate. He looks at Jijan with desperation. That's why I need you. Jijan remains silent, turning away without giving an answer. Later that night, Jijan and Arun walk home in a heavy silence. Arun says she gets it, but warns that taking on a gangster is way too dangerous. But for Jijan, one part of Doyle's story hit him hard. The idea that someone who destroys another person's dream shouldn't get away with it. And in that moment, Jijan decides this isn't revenge, it's justice. Next day at school, the mood is lighter. Yena's birthday is coming up. Her friends are already planning her party, and of course they ask if Jijan is invited. Yena gets totally flustered just hearing his name. Her friend teases her, but then spots him walking into school. Yena's eyes light up, but then she sees he's walking with Aryam. The other students start gossiping, wondering why he's with the quiet girl. Their group gets even bigger as Gumin and Sungmin run up to join them. Yena watches from the window, clearly jealous. She mutters that she doesn't care. Later at lunch, Jijan and the boys are doing their usual bread routine. But then, a new challenger appears at the door. It's Arun. She holds up a lunch bag and says, I want to eat with you guys. Sungmin gets super excited and tells her to come on in. Then it hits him. Wait a minute, she actually spoke. Everyone is blown away when she opens up an adorable bento box she made. She offers to share, and for the first time, they all eat a proper meal together. Watching from afar, Yena's face is a mask of pure, unfiltered shock. That evening, a man in a sharp suit makes a very serious phone call. It's Gitai, wrapping up a threatening phone call. Business as usual. He hangs up and walks toward an office. Taped to the door is a black business card with a fierce red logo for Hound Dog. He takes the card and heads inside. Jinwoo's lackeys can't help but notice Gitai is an absolute unit. But hey, at least the bait worked. But now Jinwoo is sweating bullets, wondering if scouting a real gangster was smart. His buddies try to act tough, calling gangsters nothing but trash. Their tough talk is cut short by a cold voice from behind. What did you just say? They turn around to see another huge dude in a suit, and he does not look happy. Uh-oh, you're in trouble now, my friends. The look on Jinwoo's face says it all. He knows they just messed with the wrong crew. And just like that, it's over. Jinwoo and his crew get absolutely folded in seconds. The boss asks who these kids are. An underling explains they were running their mouths about gangsters. The bald boss looks almost hurt. He's like, gangsters? You mean us? Come on now. We're just small business owners who pay our taxes. The boss leans in, a sneer on his face. Seriously, what part of us looks like a gangster to you? Jinwoo is frozen solid. But in his head, he's screaming, literally everything about you. The boss switches it up. So, you're not talking? Are you here for a loan then? Are you a customer? Jinwoo frantically shakes his head no. He quickly pulls out a business card, desperate to explain. Gitai snatches the card. It's for the Hound Dog Fight Club. He holds it up and asks, is this yours? Jinwoo nervously confirms it. He says they just came to deliver the card. Gitai squints at the card, totally confused. Hound Dog? What even is this? But the name rings a bell for the boss. He says, wait a minute, I've heard of that before. Another guy with a ponytail jumps in. Isn't that Duck's business? The boss nods, putting it all together. That's right. Duck's business is gambling. That's the spot where they bet on fights, right? He heard they make a ton of cash scouting strong fighters. The pieces click into place. These kids are scouts. And then, a horrifying thought hits Jinwoo. The people running Hound Dog are real gangsters. He's been working for the criminal underworld this whole time. Meanwhile, at the Romance Manhwa cafe, Doyle finally tracks down Jijan. Jijan, there you are. He walks right up to Jijan and Aryam with a strange question. Hey, do you know how to ride a motorcycle? Ahiram is completely lost. What are you talking about? Why would Jijan be driving? Doyle just smiles, claiming he sprained his ankle in gym class. So you gotta give me a ride. He casually tosses a helmet over to Jijan, who catches it without a second thought. As they head out, Aryam asks where they're going. Doyle just waves it off. Not far. I'll give him directions. He glances back with a sly grin. I'll bring your boyfriend back safe and sound, don't you worry. Ahiram turns beet red, frantically waving her hands. No, we're just friends. Friends. Jijan just examines the helmet, completely unfazed. Back at Doyle's workplace, Byung-gu looks on with a worried expression. Doyle leads the way out of the cafe. But now his playful expression is gone, replaced by something grim. They head down to an underground parking garage. Doyle points to a slick-looking sports bike. Jijan doesn't hesitate. He hops on, revs the engine, and pops a massive wheelie, leaving Doyle completely stunned. Whoa! You can do wheelies too? You're full of surprises, aren't you? They tear through the city streets. As they approach a tight corner, Doyle starts to panic, yelling for Jijan to slow down. But Jijan is a natural. He expertly drifts through the turn, leaving Doyle screaming in a mix of pure terror and awe. Wow, holy cow. Seriously, who even are you? The city lights blur into a streak. Finally, Jijan pulls over. Doyle says, we're here. You can drop me off. Doyle hops off the bike. Jijan looks up and sees it. They're right in front of the loan shark's office. Jijan is confused, but then he sees Doyle pick up a huge rock. He stops him, trying to understand what he's trying to do. Doyle explains that without Jijan driving, he would have chickened out and turned back, just like he did last time. This rock, he says, is his way of forcing his own hand like a declaration of war. Doyle's face twists with rage. That monster he made Ba Younggu wet himself in fear. He can't forget how they humiliated his friend in the middle of the street. He is not letting this go. Jijan just stares back, his eyes cold. He's got his own reasons for being here. Heck yeah, I need to do this. Back inside, Gitae tells Jinwoo's crew to get lost. This isn't a playground for kids like you. But Jinwoo recognizes him. Wait, you're Joan Gitae from Daesun High, right? The guy who dropped out to be a gangster? He quickly switches gears, claiming they came to scout Gitae for the main event. Gitae scoffs at the idea. You want to scout me for a schoolyard fight? Jinwoo insists this opponent is the real deal. He's a monster who can't be taken lightly. Now this gets Gitae's attention. Someone worthy of being my opponent, you say? Jinwoo whips out his phone. Here, watch this. He's a transfer student, and he is an absolute problem. He plays the clip of Jijan's insane brawl. The video shows him taking down guy after guy, his eyes glowing. Gitae's eyes go wide. He recognizes that face. This kid is... He remembers now. It's the kid he saw with Doyle, the one with the pretty fingers. The boss steps in to shut it down. It's a high school fight. Stay out of it, Gitae. Gitae grumbles but seems to agree, stepping back. Suddenly, a rock smashes through the glass. The projectile zips right past Gitae's head and scrapes his cheek. Stunned, Gitae whips around. What was that? Who's out there? The loan sharks are furious. They rush to the window screaming, do they have a death wish? They look down just in time to see a motorcycle speeding away. Gitae's eyes lock onto the bike. His face twists into a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. On the back of the speeding bike, Doyle looks back. His expression is one of cold, hard determination. Back in the office, the boss asks if he's okay, but Gitae is absolutely seething. That son of... As they speed down the street, Jijan reflects. Maybe throwing that rock was a little over the top, but he could feel how much courage it took for Doyle. He felt it in the trembling hand clutching his shoulder. Jijan knows that feeling all too well. It's the terror of facing a mountain you know you can't climb alone. Jinwoo's crew can barely believe it. They're actually getting a shot? Gitae confirms it with ice in his veins. The fight is on. Hound dog. They swear they'll be ready, but Gitae just shuts them down. There are conditions. He decides the time and place. All they have to do is bring their best fighter. Jinwoo gets confused for a second. Weren't they supposed to fight at the school gym? Gitae scoffs. Did they seriously just ask him, a dropout, to go fight at a school? Jinwoo immediately starts sweating bullets. Whatever Gitae wants, he gets. But inside, he's absolutely fuming. This guy is making things way too complicated. Then Gitae drops a name out of nowhere. Ever heard of a guy named Kang Doyle? Jinwoo knows that name instantly. A top dog from Daesun Industrial High. Gitae just smirks. So that little punk thinks he's a big shot now, huh? Jinwoo nervously explains he's heard Doyle is making moves and expanding his turf. Gitae muses that his ego isn't the only thing that's grown bigger. And then he gives them an order. Find out exactly where that punk lives. Because apparently, Doyle has a debt to pay, and Gitae is the collector. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to a peaceful temple basking in the sun. And who's sweeping the grounds? None other than Jijan, looking surprisingly zen. A voice calls out to the master, who welcomes a visitor with a warm smile. It's Seung-min. Apparently his mom told him he needed to go pray, but as Seung-min looks around, he spots Jijan and completely loses his mind. Jijan, what is he doing here? Does he actually live at the temple? Jijan just gives him a somewhat surprised stare. Seung-min can't believe it. He thought Jijan was a dorm rat. He's actually super jealous. Jijan gets a private temple stay all to himself. So what does he do? He immediately whips out his phone to text his buddy Guman. Dude, you'll never guess where Jijan lives. And Guman's response is instant. On my way. Seung-min tells him to bring good food, and you know Guman is on it. And sure enough, Guman comes sprinting up the steps, totally out of breath. Seung-min is hyped to see him. Jijan just looks like his brain is short-circuiting. But wait a second. Guman didn't come alone. Arum is right there behind him. Seung-min sheepishly admits he might have texted her too. Whoops. Arum gives a polite little wave, and Jijan is completely stunned. Elsewhere, in a grimy back alley, some street thugs are messing with a scooter. Out of nowhere, a fist smashes into a thug's face. It's Gitae, and he follows up with a vicious kick. The other two are in total shock. Who in the world is this guy? Gitae answers with brass knuckles, shattering the other punk's glasses and his face. He drops like a sack of bricks, leaving just one last guy standing. Gitae just chuckles, admiring his bloodied knuckles. The perfect weapon. He turns to the last man. He looks like a perfect human punching bag. The big guy cracks his knuckles, absolutely furious. He's ready to throw down, but Gitae just laughs. This fool has no idea what he's up against. The thug throws a massive haymaker, screaming that one hit is all he needs. But Gitae blocks it effortlessly, not even a flinch. He counters with a brutal punch to the jaw, sending the big guy stumbling back. Gitae just smirks with a menacing aura. Is that all you've got? Bleeding from the mouth, the thug grits his teeth. This isn't over yet. Kang Doyle is chilling when he hears the commotion. His eyes fly open in shock. His hands start trembling. He stands and grabs a heavy steel pipe. Outside, one of the thugs drops to the ground. Gitae casually steps on the downed man's chest, looking unimpressed. Doyle approaches, hand trembling, clutching the pipe. Gitai just stares back, completely unfazed. Doyle raises the pipe over his shoulder, ready to strike down his real target. Then he screams and brings the pipe crashing down. But hold up, the pipe is blocked mid-strike. Gitai blocked the freaking pipe with his brass knuckles. What a monster! He doesn't even flinch. He stares him down. You better be ready for this, Kang Doyle. Doyle is left absolutely speechless, gritting his teeth in fear and rage. Gitai is absolutely losing it, screaming in his face. How dare you, Kang Doyle? And Doyle, he's cornered, sweating bullets and looking completely terrified. Gitai calls him out, his voice practically dripping with venom. He calls him a pathetic coward. That triggers something in Doyle. He snaps, screaming for Gitai to shut up as he swings a steel pipe with everything he's got. But his attack is stopped dead. Gitai blocks it like it's nothing, smirking at his pathetic attempt. And then Gitai drops the bombshell. He calls him out for being the coward who just stood by and watched while their friend Byung got his finger cut off. That memory hits Doyle like a truck. He's trembling, absolutely speechless. With a final terrifying roar, Gitai gives him a simple command: kneel. And just like that, Doyle is broken. The pipe slips from his hands as he collapses to his knees. Gitai towers over him, sneering down at him. This is exactly where he belongs. Doyle can only glare up from the ground, his face a mask of pure, humiliated rage. Then Gitai slips on a pair of bloody brass knuckles. Oh boy, the real beatdown is about to begin. He slams a brutal shot right into Doyle's stomach, screaming at him, asking who's the boss now. He orders the bloody Doyle to raise his head, just so he can smack him right across the face again. Doyle is left on the concrete in a pool of his own blood. He's been completely and utterly destroyed. Gitai just grins like a psychopath, telling him to start begging for his life. For a second, a flicker of defiance awakens in Doyle's eyes, but it's gone as quickly as it came. He bows his head, completely submitting. Suddenly, the scene shifts to a peaceful mountain temple. A group of people are praying inside. And look who it is. Arum is here, serving a meal to some of the local visitors. She welcomes them with a warm smile, saying the temple feels brighter now. Nearby, Sungmin is cheerfully washing dishes with Jijan. He points out how happy Ariam seems lately. Meanwhile, Guman is struggling with a massive pot, joking that this is his new diet plan. A monk thanks the group for all their help, but Sungmin just laughs it off, saying he's gotta earn his keep. The monk just chuckles, telling them all to take a break before they head out. As night falls, the whole crew relaxes inside. They're all feeling good after a hard day's work. Guman and Sungmin even suggest they should come back on weekends to keep helping out. Arun starts teasing Guman, saying he'd look like a monk's apprentice if he shaved his head. He actually considers it, but their peaceful night is shattered by a sudden panicked shout. Fire! They all jump to their feet and rush outside, spotting a dangerous red glow in the distance. The monk and a few others are already on it, putting out a small blaze. They figure it was just a stray cigarette. With the fire out, everyone breathes a sigh of relief. That could have been really bad. But Jijan's sharp eyes catch something that doesn't belong. It's a black business card with a red dog logo wedged right into the temple gate. It reads Hound Dog. The others see it too, and they know for a fact that card was not there a minute ago. With a cold expression, Jijan walks over and calmly plucks the card from the gate. And right on cue, a phone rings. The caller ID sends a chill down their spines. It's Kim Jin-woo. Sungmin freaks out, shoving the phone at Guman. He tells him he has to answer it. Guman nervously answers, and Jinwoo's slimy voice confirms he got their little entry ticket. Jinwoo doesn't waste time. The match is tomorrow night at 9 in a warehouse by the lighthouse. Guman tries to protest the sudden change, but Jinwoo just barks at him to shut up and do what he's told. In a last-ditch effort, he yells into the phone that Jijan isn't fighting anymore, but on the other end, Jinwoo is just smirking. He knows Jinjan is listening. He tells Jijan he can't back out now. Not after he went to all the trouble of finding him a real tough opponent. Then Jinwoo makes a disgusting, thinly veiled threat. He mentions how easily a temple could burn down from a little carelessness. The message is crystal clear. Jijan's face hardens with cold fury. The choice is yours, Jijan, Jinwoo says. He tells him not to be late before hanging up, leaving them with the ultimatum. Jinwoo and his goons walk away, their scummy mission accomplished. And the horrible truth dawns on Sungmin and Guman. The fire, it was them. Those monsters started it. Ahriam is completely lost, desperately asking what in the world is going on. Guman has to explain it. Hound Dog is an illegal fighting ring where rich scumbags bet on fighters, and Jinwoo's crew is running the show. He tells her they forced Jijan to fight to draw a crowd, and this time his opponent is probably a real monster. Rune can't believe it. She asks if there's any way for him to just not fight. But Sungmin knows it's hopeless. Jinwoo's crew is obsessed. They will absolutely burn this temple to the ground if Jijan doesn't show. Hearing this, Jijan silently clenches his fist. His expression hardens. His decision has been made. Meanwhile, in a dark brick-walled room, someone groans in pain. Their arm is shackled in heavy chains. It's Kang Doyle. He's battered and bloodied, but he weakly whispers a desperate warning. He pleads with what little strength he has left. Don't come, Jijan. He's been captured and chained to the wall like an animal, left to suffer this torture all alone. Elsewhere, the man pulling the strings gets an update. His subordinate confirms the match is officially on. The boss remembers the opponent's name, Jong Gitai. His passenger confirms he's a heavy hitter from Daesan Industrial High. But there's more. Gatai is backed by a loan company run by the notorious Jukdo Association. The news leaves him speechless. Jinwoo just smirks. Are you surprised? He knows his boss is also under the association's thumb. He adds that Gatai wants to participate. The boss has no idea what's going on. Is the association sending players to boost his game? And then it hits him. The Jukdo Association is sponsoring his game. He starts laughing like an absolute madman. This is a golden opportunity. He immediately orders Jinwoo to promote the match to everyone. But Jinwoo has one question. Whose side is he on? With a wicked grin, the boss makes his choice clear. He's siding with the big dogs, the Jukdo Association. He tells Jinwoo to get ready. But while the villains plot, the hero trains. Jijan is pushing himself past his limits, running hard to prepare for war. He stops for a moment, executing a flawless high kick to stretch, his form absolutely perfect. With fire in his eyes, he vows to rise so high that no one will ever be able to touch him or his friends again. Suddenly, his friends arrive at the top of the mountain trail, completely out of breath from the climb. Ariam looks at him with pure worry. Sungmin says he was so concerned that he ran over first thing in the morning. Guman promises to be his #1 cheerleader, while Arim shyly adds that she'll be cheering for him too. Fueled by his friend's support, Jijan's resolve hardens into steel. He's more than ready for this fight. As night falls, they arrive at the fight location. It's a sketchy, desolate area with nothing but a single lighthouse. Sungmin is totally freaked out by the creepy vibe. Guman nervously asks Jijan if he's really gonna be okay. Jijan doesn't say a word, he just walks forward without a hint of fear, leaving his friends in total awe. A group of thugs waits by a massive warehouse door. Kim Jinwoo steps out from the shadows with a sinister laugh. Jinwoo mockingly thanks him for coming. But Sungmin immediately explodes, accusing them of setting the fire to threaten him. Jinwoo's goons just laugh it off, acting like they have no clue what he's talking about. Such total clowns. Jinwoo tells Jijan to forget about the small stuff. He says tonight's opponent is on a completely different level. With a shout, he orders the massive warehouse doors to be thrown open, revealing what's waiting inside. Jijan and his friends stare in absolute shock. The warehouse is packed with a roaring crowd, hungry for violence. This isn't just a fight, it's a full-blown underground fight club. A voice calls out Jijan's name. Standing in the ring is an absolute unit of a man with a massive tattoo covering his back. It's Jong Gatai. He smirks, asking if Doyle told him about him. Jong can't hide his shock. Ahriam recognizes him instantly, whispering that he's a real gangster. The size difference between them is insane. Gitai grins, saying it's time to finish what they started. Jijan's expression becomes dangerously cold. But before they start, Gatai announces a very special guest he insisted on having here to watch. And in an instant, Jijan's world shatters. It's Kang Doyle, beaten, bloody, and chained to the wall for everyone to see. Doyle looks up, his face an absolute mess. He weakly begs Jijan to turn back and leave immediately. Ahriam screams his name in terror. Gimin and Sungmin are completely frozen, unable to process this horror. Gitai just laughs, asking if Jijan knows why his friend is in this state. But Jijan is, you guessed it, silent. An ominous purple energy begins to boil around him. Chained to the wall, a beaten and bloody Kang Doyle can only groan in agony. Gitai faces Jijan, vowing to make him pay for everything. He sneers, asking if Jijan really wants to protect the guy chained up behind him. He lays out the terms of their fight. The key to Doyle's chains is in his pocket. Beat him and it's Jijan's. But if Gitai wins, he wants something in return. Jijan just stares back, his expression completely unreadable. Watching from the sidelines, Guman, Orim, and Sungmin are absolutely losing their minds over this proposal. Gitai lets out a sinister laugh, clarifying that neither of them are interested in something as boring as money. Instead, he reveals the horrifying stakes. He wants 2 of Jijan's fingers. Jijan's friends can't believe it, calling him crazy, but Jijan's face just hardens with resolve. Sungmin tries to pull Jijan away, warning him that this guy is a total psycho and they need to leave now. Arum frantically agrees, pleading with Jijan not to go through with this match against such a monster. But Jijan's mind flashes back to another time. He remembers Doyle's hands shaking as they held his shoulders while they sped away on a motorcycle. He remembers just how tightly his friend was gripping onto him. He remembers Byongu, who was so terrified of Gitai he literally wet his pants before running for his life. Back in the present, Gitai taunts him, asking if he's scared. Jijan thinks to himself that this is the kind of guy who makes people tremble, and that anger finally boils over. He rips off his hoodie, revealing a black tank top underneath. He's ready to fight. His friends can only ask if he's really going to do this. Gitai's eyes widen with pure manic excitement. Wow, so hot. Without another word, Jijan steps forward. He's ready for war. The crowd roars with excitement, while Arum and the others can only look on in absolute terror. In the center of a makeshift ring, surrounded by cheering onlookers, Jijan and Gitai finally face off. An announcer with a megaphone hypes up the crowd, telling everyone to place their bets now. He introduces the first fighter, the powerhouse of the Dark World, Jiang Gitai, and his opponent, the transfer student who took down the former champion, Jijan. As a security camera watches silently from above, the announcer asks the final question. Who will be the winner? A countdown begins. Elsewhere, a man in what looks like a teacher's office watches the fight on a live stream. He smirks, noting there are over 2,000 live viewers. Amazing, he thinks. The board is set. He cackles maniacally as the announcer screams, "Game start." and the fight begins instantly. Gitai lunges with a powerful kick, but Jijan manages to block it. Jijan lands smoothly, his eyes locked on his opponent. Gitai follows up with a heavy punch, which Jijan deflects with his arm. Jijan counters with a swift kick, but Gitai blocks it just as easily. The crowd goes absolutely nuts as Gitai charges in for another attack. With an incredible display of reflexes, Jijan catches Gitai's fist with one hand and blocks another blow with his arm. Jijan realizes his opponent has incredible speed and power, but no formal training. He's a pure street fighter. Still, his raw physical ability makes him a super dangerous opponent. Gitai screams in his face, trying to intimidate him, but Jijan remains totally calm and focused. Suddenly, Jijan's fist connects solidly with Gitai's face. It's a clean hit, but Gitai launches a counterattack almost immediately. He just laughs it off, saying it tickles, and dares him to try again. Jijan notes that although Gitai has no real skills, his reaction speed is insane, and he instinctively finds openings. Gitai unleashes a huge barrage of blows, forcing Jijan to block. Jijan finds an opening and lands a clean spinning kick right into Gitai's side. Gitai just dismisses the hit, sarcastically asking if that was supposed to be a massage. He roars, furious that Jijan thinks such weak attacks could ever beat him. Yelling that he'll show him reality, Gitai launches a furious assault. An observer notes that getting hit doesn't make Gitai flinch, it just makes him angrier. The crowd chants Gitai's name, sensing a major shift in the fight. Sungmin nervously observes that, while Jijan is doing well, his guard is starting to weaken. Guman points out the obvious size difference. One clean hit from Gitai could be catastrophic. Sungmin breaks down their strategies. Jijan is chipping away at his opponent, trying to win with accumulated damage. Gitai, on the other hand, is banking on his overwhelming strength for a one-punch knockout. If he connects, it's over. Ah-Room watches, her hands clasped in fear, whispering Jijan's name. Suddenly, she hears her name being called. It's Doyle. She turns to see him still chained to the wall, looking at her desperately. Doyle tells her she has to stop the fight, asking why she even brought Jijan here. Ah-Room explains that Jijan had no choice. Gitai threatened to burn down the temple where he lives. Doyle curses them and begs her to get the key and free him. She has to get that key from Gitai somehow. Doyle warns her that Gitai is like a snake, completely unpredictable and dangerous. Ah-Room agrees, stealing her resolve. The camera cuts back to the fight just as a devastating punch is thrown. Ah-Room flinches, her eyes wide with shock at the sound of the impact. It's Jijan who lands the first heavy blow, a brutal right hook straight to Gitai's face. Watching from the sidelines, Guman and Sungmin are ecstatic, yelling for Jijan to keep up the attack. And he does, unleashing a rapid-fire combo of punches, hammering away at Gitai's guard. But Gitai isn't going down that easy, firing back with his own savage shots. The two are trading absolute bombs now, neither giving an inch. The crowd is going absolutely wild, screaming for Jijan to finish him. You can just feel the energy. They're both throwing haymakers, a brutal exchange of pure power. But wait a second. Through all the pain, Jong Gitai is grinning. A savage look is spreading across his face. He smirks, telling Jijan, I was waiting for you to come closer. He roars that blocking is useless on the streets and lands a devastating punch right on Jijan's face. It was a trap. Jijan realizes with a shock that he was lured in on purpose. Gitai declares that before raw power, nothing else matters, and smashes another heavy fist into Jijan's jaw. Jijan stumbles back, completely overwhelmed. Guman and Sungmin cry out his name in pure horror. This is the wall of reality. Gitai screams, landing yet another clean punch. He mocks Jijan, saying he grew up on asphalt, not in a greenhouse, and winds up for another huge hit. Bye-bye, Jijan. But as the punch connects, something flashes through Jijan's mind. He remembers a softer moment. A girl's hands holding his, her voice telling him to cheer up. Her words echo in his mind, I love you. And that memory jolts him right back to the present. Something awakens. His heart pounds like a war drum as a crimson energy begins to pulse within him. The energy courses through him, a strange pink symbol glowing in his mind before surging into his eye. Ahiram desperately yells for him to snap out of it as a red trail of light emits from his glowing eye. Jijan plants his foot and takes the next punch square on the forehead without even moving an inch. Gitai is stunned. He can't believe it. He withstood that? You are a tough one. With blood dripping from his nose, Jijan retaliates, smashing a brutal elbow straight into Gitai's face. The blow sends blood flying as Gitai stumbles back, completely caught off guard by the sudden power. Jijan's eyes are glowing bright red. He catches Gitai's next punch with total ease. Then they both unload at the same time, their fists colliding with each other's faces in a massive impact. Gitai grunts in pain, staggering back. But Jijan stands his ground, that red light still trailing from his eye. The crowd absolutely roars. Gaman and the others can't believe it, saying this brawl is on another level. Gitai pants for breath, but a grin spreads across his bloody face. He says it's been a while since he's felt this alive. Jijan acknowledges his opponent's strength, admitting he's way tougher than he expected. But Gitai just roars back, you're still just school lunch, and throws a wild punch which Jijan easily blocks. Jijan immediately counters with a brutal punch to the gut, making Gitai buckle over in pain. Leaning over, Gitai growls that gangsters like him can't afford to lose because the moment they do, they die. So I will never let you win. He lunges forward again, swinging with everything he's got. Jijan calmly blocks the entire flurry of punches. Guman calls him a zombie, saying he's getting even more intense. But he's not just blocking, he's dodging every single hit with perfect timing. Guman realizes evasion is an art. And there it is. Jijan sees his opening, ducks under a punch, and drives his fist straight into Gitae's chest. Gitae coughs, completely winded and furious. "You rotten kid." He throws a high kick, but Jijan blocks it with his arm. Sungmin points out that Jijan looks completely unfazed. Gitae screams, "You pathetic loser," and throws another punch, but Jijan's glowing eyes track the movement perfectly. He ducks under the punch and slams a vicious blow into Gitae's ribs, then dodges a backhand with impossible grace. The chained-up Kang Doyle sees it all. He thinks he figured out his opponent's pattern already. Gitae is all about one-punch KOs, which makes him obvious. Doyle knows that Jijan saw through his attacks and has found his weakness. On the floor, Jijan plants his foot, ready to end it. Having seen through his opponent, Jijan unleashes a devastating punch, driving his fist deep into Gitae's chest. The sheer force of the blow sends Gitae hurtling backward, completely airborne. He crashes hard into a flaming barrel, scattering fire and embers all across the floor. The entire crowd is stunned into absolute silence, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. But Jijan isn't finished. He calmly walks over and picks up a burning piece of wood from the fire. Enraged and in agony, Gitae screams, "You monster, come on." Jijan just stares back, his eyes glowing with an eerie red light. He's about to bring a whole new world of pain. But Gitae isn't backing down either. Battered and bloody, he snatches his own flaming torch from the fire. He roars that the rules are officially out the window. The real fight starts now. Instantly, the crowd erupts. They start calling him a cheater for bringing a weapon into a fistfight. Gitae completely snaps, telling the entire crowd to shut it. He screams, "Does this look like a game to you?" His eyes lock back onto his target. "Let's end this, Jijan." Jijan's gaze just hardens. He watches as Gitae completely loses his mind. With one final roar, Gitae charges in, swinging the flaming club right for Jijan's head. But Jijan's reflexes are on another level. He ducks under the fiery arc and evades every single attack. From the sidelines, his friends watch in horror. What a cheater. Totally enraged, Gitae screams that you don't mess with gangsters and brings the torch down again. But this time, Jijan doesn't even dodge. He meets the attack head-on, blocking the burning wood with his foot. Before Gitae can even process what happened, Jijan follows through with a kick straight to the chest. The impact sends Gitae stumbling back, and Jijan immediately leaps into the air for the finisher. He connects with a devastating kick, sending Gitae flying right back into another flaming barrel. The irony, Gitae is just writhing on the ground in agony. Jijan stands over him, completely victorious. Yeah, he's down for the count, just panting on the disgusting floor, totally defeated. The crowd is dead silent for a second before they start whispering about how pathetic this supposed gangster looks. During the chaos, a small key falls to the ground, completely unnoticed. Miriam watches it all, her face a mask of shock. But wait, he's not done yet? Heite struggles to his feet, screaming, "I'm not stopping until one of us is finished." Jijan has had enough of this. He rushes forward and plants a solid right hook right on his jaw. As Gitae stumbles, Jijan leaps into the air and brings a devastating axe kick straight down. Gitae barely gets his arm up to block, but the sheer force of the blow is absolutely insane. You can see his arm is just shattered. The so-called gangster finally collapses, completely and utterly beaten. Kneeling on the ground, Gitae just mutters in disbelief. He can't believe he lost to a loser like Jijan. But Jijan just looks down on him coldly and thinking, "You're only strong when you fight the weak. You're just garbage. Pathetic wretch who will live on the bottom for the rest of his life." Ouch. But as Jijan turns to walk away, thinking it's over, Gitae reaches for something hidden at his ankle. It's a knife. He pulls out a blade and lunges straight for Jijan's unprotected back. The crowd completely freaks out. Songmin screams at the top of his lungs, "Jijan, behind you." Jijan whips his head around just in time to see the blade swinging right for him. He manages to dodge the attack, but Gitae slams him to the ground. Gitae is laughing like a total maniac, vowing to mess him up for good. Suddenly, a flaming torch smashes right into Gitae's face, knocking him out cold. And standing over them is none other than Kang Doyle. He's free from his chains, holding the fiery torch. The knife clatters to the floor. Doyle looks over at a stunned Jijan and asks, "Are you all right?" Jijan is speechless as usual. Sungmin finally puts it together. Arun must have used that key to free Doyle. Doyle looks down at Gitae's unconscious body. "Jijan, I can finish this, right?" He pulls out the shears and gets on top of Gitae, who starts waking up in a panic. Gitae immediately starts pleading for his life, screaming, "Don't you do it." Doyle just stares back with dead eyes. "Don't do it, but you did it to Byung-gu." Gitae desperately tries to argue that he's different, that he's in a higher class. Doyle isn't listening to a word of it. He brings the shears down towards Gitae's fingers. With a sickening snip, the blade slams shut. Gitae's face twists in pure agony as he lets out a blood-curdling scream. From outside the warehouse, the brutal sounds echo into the night, followed by a chilling voice. "One more." But Doyle isn't finished. He raises the shears again, completely ignoring Gitae's agonized screams. Gitae, a bloody mess, tries to pull rank. He spits out that he's a real gangster. He screams that his boss is going to end Doyle for this. Doyle just scoffs at the threat. He calls him a child for tattling to his boss. But just then, Kim Jin-woo and his crew burst onto the scene. They're yelling for everything to stop, but they immediately freeze in their tracks. Someone is blocking their path, and it's none other than Jijan. He's battered and bruised, but his eyes are burning with intensity. He's standing right in the middle of the ring, a human wall between Jinwoo and Doyle. Jinwoo is furious. He demands to know if Jijan can take responsibility for interfering. Jijan and Doyle exchange glances. Ignoring the drama completely, Doyle turns back to his work with a sadistic grin. Gitae pleads one last time, reminding Doyle that he's his senior, but it's totally useless. Doyle just laughs in his face. He says he's embarrassed he ever fell for Gitae's tough guy act. And with another sickening snap, Gitae lets out one final agonizing scream. The students watching are absolutely horrified. They can't believe the brutality. Jinwoo completely loses it. He screams that the match is invalid and a total disaster. But the crowd isn't buying it. They know the gangster cheated first. They start calling Jijan the true winner. The chants begin to swell, getting louder and louder. Jijan won. Jijan is the winner. Jinwoo can only stare in disbelief, fuming as the crowd turns against him. The whole place erupts. They're all cheering for Jijan's incredible victory. And amidst the chaos, Jijan stands silently. His face is a wreck, but he looks triumphant. Meanwhile, the fight's organizer slams his fist on his desk in a total rage. He is absolutely panicking. This was not supposed to happen. A student just defeated a real gangster. He's about to lose a mountain of cash, and it's all because of Jijan. He's completely overwhelmed by the disaster. Meanwhile, a black car pulls up to the warehouse. Inside, a driver tells his boss that they've arrived at the location. The boss tells him to wait. They're watching a group of men just outside. And look who it is. A battered, shirtless Jongatai stumbles out of the building. Turn it off, the boss orders. Gitae looks up and it's the driver, his senior. He rushes over, begging for help. He points back at the guys who beat him. Without saying a single word, the driver delivers a brutal punch. He follows it up with a savage kick that sends the poor guy flying. As Gitae hits the ground, the thug looms over him. He asks why he was fighting students when he was told not to. Gitae tries to explain, but the thug isn't listening. He just stomps on him again and again. Back at the fight club, Doyle remarks that Gitae was nothing but a poser. He then turns to Jijan with a small smile and thanks him. Ah-Room shouts at them. She says they both need to go to the hospital immediately. But Doyle just waves it off. He puts his arm around Jijan and the two warriors walk off together. Later that night, we find Jijan at a peaceful temple kneeling in prayer. He whispers a name, Shin Mirai, clearly lost in a painful memory. He thinks about how this person holds his heart in their hands. He wonders if he'll ever be able to forget her. The next day, it's just another boring day in school. Like nothing brutal happened last night. But hold up. In a hidden corner, Yena and her friend are cornering Ah-Room. They heard she gave Jijan a phone. Yena gets right in her face. She demands to know if Ah-Room wants to date him. She yells that everyone knows she has a crush on Jijan. But Ah-Room answers calmly. She says it's more like talking than dating. She's curious about Jijan and wants to know everything about him. Yuri absolutely loses it. She accuses Ah-Room of being a sly fox, trying to steal Jijan when she knows Yena likes him. Ah-Room stays calm, trying to de-escalate. She repeats that they're just talking. But Yena isn't having any of it. She slaps Ah-Room right across the face. Furious, Yena shouts that she is not joking around. She declares that she will not give Jijan up. With that, Yena and a very nervous Yuri turn and walk away, leaving Ah-Room all alone. Ah-Room touches her stinging cheek. But wait, is that a tiny smile on her lips? Sly, she mutters. At least be a little less sorry next time you hit someone. We sense an Ah-Room revenge arc incoming, and we are here for it. That's a wrap on this recap. Hit that subscribe button to help us keep pumping out awesome content. Catch you in the next one.